and welcome everyone to the BTN 2019 Preseason Invitational, where we are getting prepared for one of the most decisive matches of the entire preseason. We got Michigan State undefeated going up against University of Michigan, also undefeated in the Eastern Conference. All our questions will be answered after today on who will be the kings of the Eastern Conference. I am Steve Sir Bucket Kangas, and I hope you've had your veggies and done your stretches, because we are about to strap in for a full day of League of Legends action. But we're not going to be alone. I have the always incredible Aiden Zyrene Moon with the sometimes great, but oftentimes pretty average Steven Return Johnson. Always a great
Wow,
friend,
that's
though.
just...
I think you're all right, man.
That's a real negative way to start this broadcast. I appreciate the bright side of the moon here.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring an honest energy to the broadcast today, but I'm happy to have both of you on here with us today. We got Michigan versus Michigan State. This is what everyone has been waiting for. Everyone's been looking for. I can tell Return's already tilted, so I'm going to let you take this one first. What are we looking for in this matchup?
I think we're really looking to not only see the rematch of the Eastern Finals last time around in the 2019 season, but we're here to see whether Michigan State is just the best team in the East. I mean, we got some big words, especially coming from some interviews with one RBM who may or may not be starting today, but coming against their in-state rivals, Michigan, and it's going to tell us a lot about how this postseason picture is really going to start playing out.
And the thing that stands out to me is it went 5 games last time. It was the semifinals of the BTN, and, you know, Michigan State, they were able to edge it out just barely, and then they went to 5 games. So there always is that thing in the back of the mind of University of Michigan where they're like, what would have happened if we had just made a few different decisions? And they're coming in with a few new people to their roster, and it makes me really excited about it because people like Avenger are coming in, and it changes pretty much the whole face of the team.
Yeah, we'll see if University of Michigan is able to clinch out this time. But in case you aren't aware yet of the format of the tournament, let's take a look at how the preseason is shaping out.
The BTN 2019 Preseason Invitational is an opportunity for players to hone their skills and develop new strategies going into the next CLOL season. Players will have more chances to compete against their rivals and see their games brought to life on the big screen. The tournament starts with a round-robin stage. The East and West divisions are separated, then each team will play all other teams within their division. All matches will be played as a best-of-3. Each team's record during the round-robin stage will determine who qualifies for the playoffs. The top 2 teams from each division will meet in a single elimination bracket in the playoffs. The top 2 teams, one from each division, will play a best-of-5 grand finals and be crowned the champions.
Now that we know what's in store for us for the tournament format, I'm excited to talk about the current standings because things are shaping up towards the end of the season here. We're seeing who's at the top, who's at the bottom. So on the Eastern Conference, we got Michigan State and Michigan, again, both 3-0. One of them will be walking away with a victory and one with a defeat after today.
And this is the final day of the games for them because you only play 4 games here in the single round robin. So whoever wins this will be top dog. Whoever loses this will be second place, but they will play each other immediately again in that conference finals, or I guess the Eastern Conference Finals, to figure out who will actually go up against the Western Conference's champion. If you win this today, you get side selection in games 1, 3, and 5. So that's really important in a meta where people figure out if they want red or blue.
And speaking of Western Conference, we have right in front of us Illinois, still undefeated, the only remaining undefeated team in the Western Conference. Any other surprises here for you, Return? Anything shaping up on the Western side? We usually expect Illinois to be at that top spot.
Yeah, I mean, the Battle of the Hoosiers, of course, coming a little bit later today with Northwestern and Illinois, but I think Illinois still, command attack leading the squad. You got Topopotamus holding on down in the top lane. Illinois just looks as good as they've ever have, and it is kind of playing for who's that second fiddle, but you have these strong upcomers now like Minnesota, who I think have been the surprise of the tournament so far in a positive light. Purdue's been making a confident late season run, so for me, this Western region is still Illinois on top, but now it's a lot more of who's playing that second fiddle, and that second fiddle can be pretty good.
Yeah, but Minnesota, when I was watching their games yesterday, because they were playing against Illinois yesterday, Illinois was down in both of those games. They had to steal Barons to stay in the game. They had to sneak a Baron to even be in the game when they were 7,000 gold down. So Minnesota were actually just destroying them early, and if this continues to be something where, they can clean that up a little bit, I think Minnesota might actually be the favorites moving into into a rematch in the finals for them. So I know that's big to say at this point, but when I watched those games, it was a very convincing early game. It's just that macro, you can't let those like kind of dumb mistakes happen. You have to just clean that up, and that's way easier to do than to actually take over the early game.
Well, we'll see what happens on the Western Conference between those top teams. But on the East here, we again get Michigan State versus University of Michigan. Last time these two teams faced off, 3-2 for Michigan State in the semifinals last season in the spring. So are we expecting anything different? Is this a new Michigan that should be able to topple Michigan State, or are Michigan State still the favorites here?
I think it's definitely a new Michigan for sure, as you are replacing majority of the roster. You still got the top, still got support, still got quite a few members, but Michigan State not only have been looking super well put together, of course, some still like mechanical things they need to work out on a full team basis, but they have just been this well-oiled machine. The only question for me here is this the roster that we're going to see? Because Moonlight made some movements around yesterday. We had Argentina making his debut, and then RBM. Is he even going to exist in today's matchup?
And to be fair, they still looked strong yesterday. They just didn't have that same cohesion that we necessarily expect during all stages of the game. There were a couple mishaps, some misplays that are uncharacteristic for Michigan State. So you're right, Return. I think depending on what roster Michigan State brings up here, that can have a big effect. But there's one returning member that we know will be starting, and that is Moonlight. Whether it's support, whether it's top lane, this player always consistent, always performing.
Yeah, and Moonlight, I mean, even if he swaps roles, he's able to really perform. And I think the fact that he's just got such good map awareness really does bring the team together in those moments in the macro game that have really kind of pulled out those wins for them, even if they haven't had the best of early games sometimes. But I feel like Michigan State, they have just been, I feel like both these teams actually haven't been that challenged so far in these three matches that they've played. So this is the first time I think they're really going to be challenged with each other, because you're looking at the field and they are locked in at number 1 and 2. They are absolutely guaranteed to be the finals. So today, you figure out just how strong your competition really is.
Yeah, exactly. And University of Michigan here, we can see it's still 3-0 in the standings. New members coming in for them, but a couple returning faces. Mexican Thunder, again, I cannot get enough of this player's Leona. It's so strong, so impressive, but the player we want to highlight being ShamWow, the returning member, really one of the captains of the team in our eyes.
Yeah, exactly. When you're coming in as a sophomore as well, I mean, still has 3 years more of experience left on the roster, has been having a pretty successful run so far, now especially with Julius making it. Julius on other squad, Michigan State, old Michigan State, but filling in for a lot of leaving members. You have to be that voice on the squad. You have to be the one leading the way. And this Michigan team, if there's one squad in the West that I would expect, or in the East rather, who I would think has a chance to slay the Spartans, take down Michigan State, I think it is this Michigan squad, and now we're going to have to see whether they can build for that playoff performance.
Absolutely. And when you're looking at somebody like ShamWow in the top lane, he played Vladimir to fantastic effect, and he's been able to carry many games. But when I think about his lane opponent, Sunlight, I just remember Sunlight playing random things like Garen, even before it was meta or reworked, and really actually having pop-off performances on it, where he's a player who really gets away with things that I didn't think he could in kind of semi-pro or I guess collegiate level play. So he definitely has his work cut out for him today in the top lane with ShamWow.
Yeah, that top lane will determine a lot of what happens elsewhere on the map for the whole series. But we do have an interview with the University of Michigan's mid laner, Doomfully, getting his thoughts on the matchup coming up. Hello, Paul Doomfully Davis. Thanks for taking the moment to chat with me about the match coming up here. You got Michigan State right over the horizon. Are you nervous at all?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, confidence coming in right off the bat. Where's that confidence coming from?
Well, Michigan State's definitely a scary team. They still have all 5 members from last year, but especially if they're, not playing their main jungler, it's definitely something we can win, and we're prepared.
All right. Do you think that University of Michigan is ready to take the mantle as the top team from the Eastern Conference when you're staring down Illinois over on the West?
We're certainly going to try. I guess we'll see in a little bit, but I'm fairly confident that we'll put on a good match. So.
All right. Do you have anything special prepared for this match coming up here that you'd like to share? Any leaks you want to give us for my analysts on the desk?
We definitely have a few things in the pocket, but I'm not going to say too much.
Okay, all right. You keeping it close to the vest. I respect that. So I got to ask, finally, in your opinion, conversation's been brewing. Typically, the East Conference is considered very, very strong, tight race, whereas on the West, we got Illinois at the top. So what are your opinions right now on the East versus West rivalry? Which conference do you think is stronger overall right now?
To be perfectly honest, I don't bother watching most of the West games because I just have better stuff to do. But I think East is Michigan State strong. I think we're getting there, and we'll see after today. But I think some of the other teams are looking like not so strong. So.
Okay,
East
well, Doomfully, if there's one word I could use to describe you, it's confident, for sure. So thank you so much for taking the time, and best of luck in the games ahead.
Thank you.
Admitting that he doesn't even watch the other conference, that's some high confidence levels from him right there.
I mean, he said he has better things to do. I mean, he's thinking about his future, right?
Yeah.
He's thinking about his future. He's going to be putting time into school, in his own scrims. He's got better things to do. I totally understand that.
Return, what are your thoughts on the East versus West right now? Just to kind of wrap up that discussion, which conference is stronger in your opinion as we stand currently?
I think when you go pound for pound, I think there's a lot more competition still coming out of the Eastern side. The fact that you still have Michigan State, the fact that you have Michigan, like two top caliber teams, I think slot in for me about that second and third spot right now. So I think that level of play is a bit higher. But I think when you're just talking about who's got the best team, I'm still a big fan of Illinois. They've been looking a little bit shaky as of late, but I've got confidence. Maybe just because I'm from Illinois, I got a little bit of maybe bias going that way. But certainly I think that the West still got quite a bit to put up.
It happens to the best of us, man.
Yeah.
We're from NA. We know all about this.
Yeah, but at least you're honest about
boy.
it. That's the first
Yeah.
step. You know, you got to admit where your biases lie. Again, I'm a Minnesota man myself, so we'll see. We'll see who takes it. Zyrian, I like what you were saying earlier. Minnesota maybe taking that top mantle from Illinois on the Western Conference. We'll see.
I'm from UCI, man. I don't
Yeah.
care about that.
You're like, BTN? What is that? What is that conference?
Oh man, no. Honestly, I think collegiate just overall is always just a great kind of not breeding ground for talent, but really just a breeding ground for people to figure out how good they are at games. Because there's everybody has that moment where you're playing like Super Smash Brothers, you're playing Mario Kart, and you're the best kid on your block, and then you actually go and you play against other people, and you're just like, damn.
I have been there. The best Mario Kart player on Holly Lane in Plymouth, Minnesota. I will claim it for myself, but we're already well into the draft. We had a slight technical delay, so this is what the draft is for game number 1. Michigan State on the blue side, University of Michigan on the red. So I just want to take a moment to really digest what the lane matchups are. We didn't see the pick order, so all we can really do is determine who won this draft right off the bat. There's a Mundo, there's a Kennen. Things are going nuts right now.
Wow. They have the Galio plus the Gragas with the Yasuo, so they have a lot of kind of team fight there. Their damage mix is actually pretty low, but they do have true damage, so I'm okay with Michigan State side of things. And Mundo actually does a deceptive amount of magic damage. The Michigan side of things, there's a lot of range here, really good peel. I feel like reaching the Tristana is going to be pretty impossible unless the Gragas can really get in there. So I think this is on an Argentum Sky if he is playing to really get that backline.
It is Argentum Sky as support and Moonlight as jungle. We have confirmed that. So with RBM out, they're doing the same thing that they did yesterday with the roster, where Moonlight is moving to the jungle role. Argentum Sky coming in as the substitute support player. So yes, Moonlight had a very strong performance on things like the Jarvan yesterday that we saw. I'm curious what the Gragas is going to look like, because this is a high execution type of composition. When you have the Gragas Yasuo, it's a strong combo, but you have to pull it off.
100% agree. And then when you look at the Michigan State side, so much of it in the early stages of the game is really focused on just defensive play, trying to keep your Vayne alive through the Leona in the laning phase, make sure Zach doesn't get too involved. And then, of course, like enabling the Yasuo, getting to late game and let Vayne be that super 1v5 carries. Everyone else just kind of distracts. And for me, I mean, we've mentioned it before on this broadcast, in Collegiate, there is always the Yasuo curse from me. Even if you have the Gragas Yasuo, the burden of execution lies on the team with the Yas. And for me, that is a big strike against Michigan State, especially without RBM.
I'm looking at this, both of these team compositions, and I'm really like what Michigan's able to do in just the options that they've set up for themselves. They have the Kennen, who can look for these team fights. They have Zach, who can look for engages, and then a priority mid laner, and what I would argue to be a priority bot side as well. So just a lot to play around from University of Michigan side. Michigan State, like you said, very high execution type of team composition. So there's the potential for them to pull it off, but when I look at Michigan's comp, I think it's just easier in general. You understand what your role is in most of these team fight situations.
Yeah, and I totally feel that too. I feel like the Kennen mixed in with everything, it really is just hard engage. They're gonna have to find the Yasuo who will have to be in kind of the Kennen range effectiveness in order to actually deal damage to him. So you're pretty vulnerable in this team composition on the side of Michigan State. They have to be the ones engaging on a lot of these, but if they are the ones who actually get engaged on, they do have some good kite back potential. So I think it's really who gets to the objectives first here to try and force the other team's hand.
Well, both teams 3-0 right now. The composition's not exactly what I expected. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of University of Michigan, and it's interesting that they're the one with the more standard draft in my eyes. Something like the Zach is coming a little out of left field. I wish we could have seen the actual draft to know where that came in from, but in your opinion, Returned, is this something that's new to the meta on 922, or is this more along the lines of a pocket pick here for Michigan?
It's somewhere in that gray area. I don't think that the meta's been pushing it super hard. I mean, we haven't exactly been in these Xin Zhao dominated, super fighty fight kind of fight club jungle compositions, but with the Zach pick, there we go. The Zach pick is definitely very unique in the fact that you really need to set it up correctly. You can't have a lot of disengage on the other side of the map, and you have to be willing to play a jungle into somebody who could very easily just go ahead and invade. I think that when you look at here versus Gragas, he has some invasion priority, not quite as much as a super fighty fight jungler. You're going to be able to survive a lot of that jungle presence, and then it really does turn a lot into, can you get actual value off on those ganks? 'Cause if you can set them up correctly with vision and priority, that thing pays dividends.
Well, we'll see how the compositions work out in the game, but unfortunately, we don't get to see the game before we make our predictions. That's the whole point of a prediction. So I'm going to go first. I think the University of Michigan will take this one. I like the team composition that they have. Like I was saying earlier, the tools just seem easier to execute on. We've seen Kennen team fights. We know what to expect there. We've seen Zach lane ganks. We know what to expect there. And especially this mid lane matchup, Yasuo as a melee champion into the Tristana's range, I feel like that is something that University of Michigan can really look to punish. So pound for pound, I'm saying that University of Michigan in each lane won this draft.
I'm also going to go with University of Michigan on this one, mostly because I do think that their draft is very easy to use. There is some burden of execution where the Yasuo, he can get in and use his wind wall to pretty much stop almost all of their damage. But I think that the fact that they are using the substitute right now on Michigan's side, or Michigan State's side, really does kind of hamper their ability a bit. And I think the game one will go the side of University of Michigan.
Yeah, I think I have to agree overall. Like the University of Michigan, the composition seems a lot cleaner come together. Michigan State, if Michigan State's win, you can just hand Dillaran the MVP award right now because he's going to have to dodge literally everything in the kitchen sink at this point. But I think when it comes down to ease of execution, game one, getting that warm up in, maybe game two looks a little bit different for Michigan State, but I say game one, go on the way of University of Michigan.
And that Vayne really surprised me in the draft as well. Again, we didn't see where it was picked.
I want to believe it was just a first pick. It was just first lock in blue side.
That is some insane confidence levels right there. But the Vayne into the Kaisa, I can't see this matchup going the side of Michigan State. So with a weak priority on the bot side, how is this going to affect Moonlight's jungling? Again, a support player subbing into the jungle role. Is this concerning here for Michigan State going into game one?
I'm not super concerned, especially because when you're talking about lane priority, having low lane priority and does it affect the jungler? Well, the ganks are going to get a little bit harder, so you have to give that extra time to get that first control ward and get the sweeper pretty early and go forge that out. But the other thing you're concerned about normally is the invasion. And one thing I can pretty firmly say about Zach is that he is not an effective invader. So I wouldn't really expect him to be punished too heavily for that, but it does come down to a battle of the ganks. Who is going to be able to have more of an impact on this matchup and of the entire match in general?
Well, we'll see as we're ready to get loaded into the Rift and watch game number one, brought to you by Grubhub. Exciting to see Michigan State versus University of Michigan, the final two undefeated teams in the Eastern Conference. One of them will go down today.
When I look at these teams, I'm going to be looking at Argentum Sky, especially in that bot side. The fact that the substitution comes in, I'm always watching to see what they do, especially in game one. And Moonlight immediately going to be invading and placing wards down. Yep, this is to track the Zach early because the Zach really wants to go for a safe clear, and the Raptors are a good amount of experience in taking the Krugs is a little bit slower. So if he wants to start on the top side on the red, which, you don't get anything from really taking the blue. You don't have mana. It's just CDR for you. So you'll end up going to the top side, getting the red, and then from there, you really have to go straight to the Raptors. Otherwise, you're going Wolves, and then you're going blue, and you're not level 3 yet. So you want to take the Raptors to go for a 4 camp clear or a 3 camp clear, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that here without being spotted or at least harassed. So
yeah, and Zach's early game clear needs to be quick. You're not a fast clearing jungler to start, so you have to take full advantage of the time that is given to you. So Michigan State being able to track Avenger will definitely help them out in this early game. And I'm curious, Michigan State University's team composition, yet again, tank in the top side, the engage option in the jungle with the Yasuo combination, and also the Galio combo. So it seems like their whole plan here is that big one-punch play where they make a crazy outplay onto the University of Michigan. What is their win condition here, Zyrene? What is Michigan State hoping to play towards in this early game?
So in this early game, they really want to have I Am Nightshade not be too disrupted in the mid lane, and they want to have this bottom lane kind of play appropriately in this situation. You want to be able to shove in, kind of abuse the poke from the Galio versus what the Leona brings to the table. And I think the bottom side is really the one that you're going to be trying to use to your advantage. And it's interesting because that's where one of the substitutes is. So that's not always what you expect, but it's what you're going to get here in this game. And using Moonlight to try and go for ganks onto I Am Nightshade. It's a very kind of infamous combo. It's the Yasuo plus the Gragas. As soon as he hits level 6, the Gragas is going to body slam in that lane. Even if it's flashed away from you, throw the R. It's a great way to just get that knockup, get that ultimate off, and even just chase down, because the way that you can play this out is there's a lot of kind of prediction counterplay in this. For example, the Gragas goes in, he body slams, the Tristana either buffers, even if she doesn't, you're going to use the last breath off of it. You'll get the knockup, and then if she jumps away then, you can still E to her. If she Rs, you can predict it with the wind wall. So there's a lot of kind of mind games, and if the Yasuo hits this point where he's doing more damage than the Tristana can actually sustain before he gets away, it'll be bad, and that's why he's taken Exhaust in this matchup for exactly that. He does not want to get burst in those situations where he gets outplayed.
And typically, you think of the Tristana in the mid lane as a very safe pick. You have that range advantage, you have the disengage, but with so many CC options and gap closing options between the Gragas and the Yasuo respectively, there is the potential for that outplay, like you said. But here we go. Moonlight actually catching Avenger in the jungle. Gets the flash out from the Zac, and Moonlight will take that camp for himself.
And you can see those 2 wards. 2 wards placed there very early on from the invade, which happened from Dillaran and Argentum Sky pushing the bottom lane. So the Galio taking Q very early to make sure that he's able to get lane priority over the Leona, push it in. And also, the other thing too, is that they know from the side of Michigan State that it was a topside start from Avenger. So Avenger was not going to gank bottom lane. So bottom lane can push mega hard from Dillaran and Argentum to get those wards down, and that's ultimately what it is.
Oh, but another play here on the mid side. Doomfully does rocket jump away, has to flash, even throws the exhaust. Might try to turn this fight around, getting some damage onto Moonlight, but I Am Nightshade throws down the ignite, dashes back through a minion to avoid Avenger's counter gank. The Doomfully trading summoner spells just to try and get a kill.
Yeah, I actually think that Doomfully loses that very hard. He used both his exhaust and his flash. He used the flash, which I actually do not think was that big. Maybe he was afraid of like Yasuo flash Q with an ignite, but I actually don't think he was that in danger. Now, come level 6, he's not going to have his flash back up or his exhaust, so I think he might be dead to rights as soon as the Gragas, who still has his flash, comes back into lane.
Yeah, it's going to be so much harder to stay safe for that potential repeat gank. And Moonlight, we saw already in this early game, willing to be aggressive. First, invading on the jungle, taking away that Gromp camp from Avenger, and now going for that mid lane gank. Definitely putting in work in the early game.
So here's where the game gets really complex for somebody like Avenger. You don't have your flash. Your mid laner is in a bad double matchup. He is probably going to get 2v1, and he doesn't have his summoner spells. Your bot lane's getting pushed in. Your top lane is actually decimating the other top laner. And look at that. Look at that inventory. He's got 2 of those red potions. He has 3 bags of gold. Your boy's a leprechaun right now. Sham Wow
Even
has so much money in the bank ready to go. I don't know what his major is, but I hope it's economics right now. Look at that. He just used all 3 of them. I don't even know how much gold he got from that.
Gonna go for that first bag. We'll see what he wants to go for, whether it's gonna be more the split push style or for that full team fight engage style. It seems like University of Michigan are looking for the team team fight. Based on what else they drafted, they got the Leona, they got the Kaisa. A lot of engage options, and a full AP Kennen coming in would feel great for them, but Michigan State University, so far, like we said, controlling the early game. So if they can keep this pressure up, they might be able to play more around this skirmish style, shutting down mid and really trying to punish Doomfully.
And you can see topside, ShamWow's already 400 gold up, 500 gold up.
Yeah.
Apparently it's computer science. So he's hacking the game right now. He's doing a good job in this top lane. He's also got the Cull, so he knew this was a matchup where he was going to have to push. And I know this matchup, personally, is actually very, 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 very Kennen favored. It does swap later when he gets magic resistance, but this Mundo can't stack magic resistance in this matchup just yet because there's a Kaisa and there is a Tristana in this game, so he won't be kind of, I would say, as happy about his itemization.
Feels like one of those situations where the Mundo is a counter to most AP champions. You can be a crazy magic resist tank, but the rest of Michigan, University of Michigan, like you said, Zyrene, is AD threats. So in laning phase, Sunlight might be able to get some MR, but so far it's not feeling great as he's constantly pushed under. This is what the range advantage of the Kennen really looks like. Ooh, bot side, good trade here for Spyro.
Whoa, the turret was sleeping. It didn't even hit Spyro.
Sleeping on the job.
He
What's
got that
going
auto
on?
win, and he was so close. Oh, wait, Sunlight.
Looks like ShamWow
Sunlight.
also might have, hacked the bottom turret.
Sunlight's actually almost dead here. No ult. His ultimate is available. No ultimate's used, and ShamWow has his. He's gonna go for it. There it is.
An immediate, no hesitation from ShamWow, and picks up the first blood.
Man, he was so excited about that. I think he used both of his red potions, and and he gets that kill though. The flash is just. That's just an easy read on that. I saw that one coming a mile away, and now he's going to get free plates. He's going to be up so much gold because that's first blood.
Hadn't even completed a first bag yet either.
Oh, and here it is. Oh, my boy!
No flash in the Tristana, no flash necessary. Just throws out the ultimate to block that engage.
Yeah, but that's so crucial because by the next Albon
side, Dillaren's taking a lot of damage. Has to use the heal flash for it by Mexican Thunder. One more auto will get the kill, and now the gank from Avenger, Argentum Sky, will fall as well. The final auto comes in for Spyro, and University of Michigan are online, but not to be outdone. I am Nightshade trying to take the 1v1 against Doomfully. Flash auto Q for the kill. Might go down to the turret, and the bomb isn't going to be enough. It's not. He gets out safely.
And I was going to say, though, for Doomfully, it was such a good ultimate from him earlier because it allowed him to have enough time that the next time Gragas came, he would have flashback. He already had exhaust. Way too late of an exhaust there on Nightshade. He had to blow that way earlier. But at that point, Nightshade probably wouldn't have dove. Big kind of like what if at that point. But right now, I actually think disaster struck for Michigan State. They lose the top lane. This guy's over 1,000 gold up now because of the first blood, all of that gold from those bags, and then he gets the turret plate on top of it. And you just lost the bottom side too. They need this kill.
Oh, they just lost a 2v2, but Spyro stays maybe a little too long. The final tick of damage comes in from Dillaran as Avenger tries to turn it around, but just doesn't get there in time.
And you have to think, and that's a head scratcher. You're going, how did he get caught as a Kaisa versus a Galio and a Vayne? What happened there? How was he flanked? Was he pushing too far forward? I think it might have been a situation where Leona is backing and looking for boots, looking for a roam, looking for something on that back timer, and he just tried to push another one without his support. That is something that you will immediately get punished for.
Both the teams looking for the dragon after that play, but oh, wait a minute. Avenger just got soloed by the blue buff, lost his passive. No one on Michigan State saw that, so they are unaware that the Zag passive is down, but the dragon is secured by Michigan State University. So yes, they lost the 2v2 bot side, but good play from Dillaran, bringing it back, getting that kill solo onto Spyro, and then this Infernal Drake will help even more. But top
got
side,
ulti now.
1v1, Sunlight going in onto ShamWow. Is the ult going to be enough? Can he get the
get
healing? ShamWow's going to take it, misses the Q.
Here comes Yasuo.
Sunlight with the healing. Oh, this Mundo is too tanky. ShamWow cannot deal with it. Gonna try and hide under turret, but Nightshade not fast enough. Won't be able to impact the 1v1.
And you saw that ShamWow had actually no idea that Yasuo was going to be there. He had a ward in the Tri-Brush, I think, that was only able to spot him there at the end, but ShamWow's instinct said the way Sunlight's moving towards that, and there's a missing person.
Engaged
like
from both sides. Junglers down in the area. Moonlight, it takes down Spyro instantaneously as Avengers now starts ulting around. Double stopwatches, Mexican Thunder, Argentum Sky, the support's still alive, but ShamWow with the teleport completion turns it around for University of Michigan, gets the double kill, and MSU lose the fight.
And that is where ShamWow, he comes through, has the ultimate down, and right now, the Mundo had to push another wave, so he's not going to TP into this fight. The Kennen has the advantage there, and he's able to turn this around because it was 3v2 unless he comes in. This would have been a really quick cleanup there for Michigan State University before the Tristana got there, and then it would have gone from there. But that's going to be 2 kills going to ShamWow, who we highlighted him at the start. This is the guy who's got the money in the bank right now. He's the one who's going to have those big carry team fights, and he's already on his way there. He has the Proto Belt completed. He's going for Void Staff next. He's not going for the Hextech Gunblade. He's not going for anything like that. He already has the Proto Belt. He wants that penetration to make sure he can still deal damage to Sunlight.
And he's close to completing the Cole. 3-0 on the Kennen. ShamWow, an absolute monster on the Rift at this point in time. And University of Michigan, they actually opt to go for the lane swap. They send Spyro up topside with Doomfully.
Yeah, and they're using this as a point of power here because it was pushed in. They know that there isn't going to be as much vision on this top side, and it's been dominated by ShamWow, who's been pushing in. So they get to take that top side. The Dragon is no longer on the bottom side. It was taken by Michigan State, and now they can get Rift Herald and the turret, and this is actually just a big tempo play here. And right now, they're going to have to back off because they're going to get engaged on. Oh, boy.
Yeah, a bunch of members from MSU are coming up here. Our Avenger caught out.
No
If he
passive.
does, no passive. He goes down, but ShamWow is able to turn the fight in the pit. Nightshade struggling to stay alive. The exhaust comes through as the rest of University of Michigan can continue this fight forward. Moonlight has to pop that stopwatch, trying to survive as long as he can. Body jumps over the wall, but a flash from Doomfully says, "Where you going? I need some gold."
Meanwhile, the Vayne on the bottom side of the map is just going to have some solo push. That's the only really good thing that Michigan State get out of this. They stop the Rift Herald on top of that. But Dillaran, he's going to have some solo farm. And this top side of the map, oh man, Sunlight's going to have to kind of weather this storm. There's nobody who can really help him at all. There's no teleports that can assist. There's no Galio ultimate. And he's just going to have to slowly get this turret up.
Yeah, he's giving the turret up, although Michigan are sharing XP and gold between Spyro and Doomfully. So the carries, the AD threats, will be able to take this first turret for themselves and push Sunlight off successfully.
Yeah, but when you have 2 AD threats like this in the game and a fed AP threat, it makes itemization very hard. Some people are going, all right, this is an easy read. We get Ninja Tabby this game. It's like, you might have to think about Merc Treads because there's a Leona and there's this Fed Kennen in the game who just comes in from the backside. Avenger, unlucky man that the whole, the blue buff was playing for the blue team that time and got his passive. Honestly, this team fight was carried by a blue buff.
Absolutely. Michigan State started off strong. They thought they had that pick onto Avenger in the pit, thinking, okay, everyone from University of Michigan are on the top lane. We can get this real quick, but they did not expect ShamWow on the flank on that Kennen. Beautiful play there. Now 4-0-2. Michigan actually find Michigan State yet again on this Rift Herald. They're just testing to see, will people be checking this objective?
A shout out to Coach Marcus in the chat who said, my Vlad is nice, my Kennen slaps, you guessed it right, ShamWow still claps. And it's true.
I like that.
He's done such a good job on the Vladimir. The AP carries seem to be his forte,
Yeah.
and he's really just, I feel like I have full confidence in this guy when you
need
give him a winning matchup.
We need a rhyme that goes with his name, though. Like, we'll think about it in a second. Spyro might be in a fight himself. Nope, is able to walk away. You got anything, Zyrene? Anything that rhymes with ShamWow?
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. This man is
But I
great.
might get sued by Disney.
He goes ka-chow. You heard it right. His name's ShamWow. As a fight breaks out, Argentum Sky trying to taunt up 4 members to buy time for Nightshade, and Mexican Thunder on the back line. Spyro's in some trouble, is able to survive long enough. Nightshade does go down. Argentum Sky is too late with the ultimate. Look at the time Mexican Thunder bought for the team to take down Nightshade. It's a 1-for-1, but University of Michigan are happy to take this. They can keep going forward. They can look for more. It's Sunlight, though. This Mundo is so tanky, and they can't quite lock him down.
And meanwhile, once again, Dillaran, bottom lane, solo, by himself. This Vayne, I feel like this is some Vayne spotting stuff right here. I think he's like, my team is Inton. I got this bot lane turret. And he's just like, wait, guys, we scale, or I guess I scale. And I'm looking at these fights. And wait.
Doomfully! Oh, tries to rocket jump in, but the flashback from Sunlight. You played yourself.
I think Doomfully's trying to style on people and say, thanks for the scrim, man. Like, see you later. See you in the final.
It's not like this is, the definitive match in the preseason to see who's the best in the East. Might as well have some fun with it, right?
Yeah, I guess, but you always want to come out on top of your competition. I mean, maybe he's limit testing or whatever, jump straight in. Almost there, almost. He's a little too tanky.
I can see the plan, but it did not quite work out. But now the next Dragon being secured by MSU yet again. They've been struggling in some of these early game team fights, some of these skirmishes. They haven't been coming out on top, but at least they're controlling objectives fairly well. It's an even turret trade, and they do have 2 dragons to their name.
Yeah, and the Infernal Drake is going to add combat stats to the team, the Gragas, the Yasuo, and even, I guess, to some extent, you'll have the Vayne use that. And I feel like, also the Mundo, he gets a lot of extra AD from his E. And so he will do a lot of damage later, especially with that Conqueror. So I feel like it's almost worth, I would say maybe a little bit above 1,000 gold for this team at this point in the game. It'll, of course, be worth more as time goes on and they buy more AD. But the gold is a little bit more even than you would think.
That minion, more CS for Dillaran right there. Good support, Argentum Sky. I like it. Again, I want to highlight the fact, yes, Dillaran spent so much time on the bot side, but that's where the Vayne wants to be. We'll get back to that point as Nightshade could be in some trouble. Good Tornado, but it's not enough. Doomfully still able to output all that damage, and they even get the teleport out of Sunlight.
And that means that they'll probably go for something mid. Like ShamWow, if I'm ShamWow, here's what I do. I push this, I kind of threaten, and I rotate mid, because you know the Nightshade's dead. Sunlight is bot side. Oh, wait, going on him.
Sunlight's straight onto the Tristana, but ShamWow's still here. They
what are you
can't
doing?
look for it, but Moonlight goes in. The engage out to Doomfully. Can they take down the Tristana? The answer is yes, but ShamWow answers it right back. You can't take down Sunlight, though. That's a lot of magic resist and health he's got, but there's a fight happening on the top side as well. Dillaran's able to reposition. Spyro already takes down Argentum Sky with no support. Who can frontline for Dillaran? The answer is no, and MSU have to back off.
And ShamWow is actually playing these fights really mechanically well. He's actually dodging pretty much all of the cleavers, and he's making Sunlight look a fool when he's just going left and right and not able to train him down, because Sunlight 100% can kill him if he just keeps getting those cleavers. Maybe get the flash out of him. There's the Rift Herald. They're just going to push for more.
University of Michigan gets so much for that play.
Nightshade is back up. Moonlight is also up.
Oh, they can die.
Are available. What is he doing?
Oh, Nightshade does not respect the damage to the turret and stays a little too far forward. This could be an inhibitor. Maybe they fight under turret. Maybe MSU mounts the defense. They do push Michigan off of that inhibitor turret, but this is pre-20 minutes, and University of Michigan have blown up the mid lane.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here. Oh, that's gonna hit Spyro.
Not landed. Can the follow-up come through? The explosive gas out of Spyro. They shut him down, but who's the real carry of the team? Moonlight already goes down, but ShamWow is still healthy, still alive in this fight. No ultimate available, but double kill for Dillaran now. Doomfully is shown up. The Tristana does so much AD. Sunlight, where's the armor, baby? What are you gonna do about these auto attacks?
He's gonna heal a lot. He's gonna heal a lot. He's gonna heal a lot.
Look at Dillaran. He locks the Tristana into the wall. Now they can turn on to Avenger. ShamWow has to disengage, and University of Michigan stay too far. MSU will take the fight.
Yeah, and that's the turnaround there. They wait for cooldowns, and like I was saying, Sunlight heals a boatload. He's got himself the Conqueror. When that's stacked, the Mundo does so much AoE.
Oh, ShamWow got to the turn with the slicing maelstrom. Can he take down Dillaran? Almost. He does at the very end. 2 for 1, trying to defend the turret. The hero play. Oh, and it all started with this play here. Argentum Sky catching out the Kaisa.
Yep, and right there, ShamWow is actually forced to get out of that fight because of the Galio ultimate. Now Doomfully's coming in from the side, and we'll see this. Hold on.
Oh, there was another fight. Oh. Nightshade. Yeah, that's a rip right there.
I thought this was Yasuo's just default state. It's just crumpled up on the ground based on this game.
He's playing the Yasuo to the, to the expectation set in our region, so I think it's okay. He's playing the NA Yasuo well.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's just NA Yasuo, man. It's just any team that I'm on's Yasuo.
True. There we go.
Even my friends, man. I trust my friends, and they're like, dude, I can play Yasuo real well. I'm like, all right, man. They'll pop off on like one game I watch them in solo queue. As soon as they're on my team,
Exactly. It's like, who can you really trust in this day and age in 2019?
I don't know, man. Gotta need somebody, though.
Yeah, exactly. Michigan State University have been winning some of these later fights, which is good for them. They were struggling early on. They were controlling those dragons. That was the one thing going for them. Now they're a little behind in the turrets, but the gold hasn't ran too far in University of Michigan's favor. They do have a sizable lead, but it feels like something MSU can still fight with, as they have been winning these. Another pick on the Mexican Thunder. They should take down this Leona, and if University of Michigan are going to give plays like this It gives options and windows for MSU to come back.
I actually think Michigan State have weathered the storm. The Vayne has the 2-item power spike. He's got the Rage Blade. He's going to stack it up here on the Baron. So even if they turn and fight, they're just going to be stacking those silver bolts so quickly.
But the mid priority belongs to University of Michigan. Instead, they're turning onto this Baron.
Gotta watch for ShamWow.
Can fight in a Baron pit so well with a slice of mail.
Ulti
He's gonna
go in.
for it. He's got to look for it now. He only gets onto 2 members, but does take down one. Gentum's guy's taking a lot too. Spyro jumps all the way onto the back line. But now Doomfully is the next threat. Goes down so fast to the damage of Dillerin and Nightshade, and Sunlight can clean up the rest of the fight. Michigan cannot weather MSU's storm, and MSU will claim the Baron.
Michigan, for the love of God, buy Grievous Wounds. Somebody buy Grievous Wounds. I don't care if you're Zach, goes and buys an Executioner's Calling. Somebody's got to buy Grievous Wounds on this team. That Mundo would have been dead multiple times, and it wouldn't have caused such a big deal in that middle part of the fight.
Starts with the pick, and then you can see if ShamWow had those Grievous Wounds, you're right, Sunlight probably would have gone down here. He has a Rabadon's death cap at this point,
Yeah.
and still couldn't take him down.
It's Rabadon's death cap. He, like, for Wenta Morello's in this game, you're going to see here, Avenge, he's not able to do much in this fight. Spyro goes to the backside, still gets knocked up, gets condemned into the wall, and he just gets blasted, and they thought this was a really good fight to take. Doomfully uses his flash, uses his exhaust. I don't know if he just, like, smashed his face into the keyboard there, but he just hit everything at the same time, and it wasn't to much effect.
And right now, the gold swings back in the favor of Michigan State University. They have a 1K gold lead, 3 dragons to their name, and still a few minutes left on this Baron buff. So University of Michigan, things were looking good in the early game. They had those 2v2s bot lane. They had ShamWow winning that solo lane top side, but they have not transitioned it well into this mid game. Pick after pick is going to MSU.
Yep.
And Michigan State University, we already know this. They are a team to punish those kinds of mistakes.
Oh yeah, and I actually think they're 100% in the driver's seat now. I think that the fact there was no healing reduction, and there still is no healing reduction, you guys cannot be that greedy for your items when it comes to this. You are playing against a Mundo, a Gragas, who also heals. You're playing against somebody who now has a Vamp Scepter in the mid lane and Conqueror, and you're playing against a Vayne that also has a Blade of the Ruined King. Absolutely, at this point in the game, not having any Grievous Wounds is honestly ridiculous.
Is this one of those moments where LS would actually be happy with the Morellonomicon on a cannon?
Okay, he's only tilted by it because you're not buying it for the Grievous Wounds. This is where you're buying it for the Grievous
There we go. There we go. That's what I needed to hear. But
regardless of that, Michigan State in the driver's seat now. The Yasuo, he got the 5 deaths. That's the power spike. That's where he's going to come into the game. And now he's got that positive KDA finally.
the KDAs across the board looking better for Michigan State University at this point in time. A lot of kills this game. With the Barrett push, they're able to take down that bot turret. They're able to take down mid turret as well. 5 to 4, but teleport
TP flank.
flank.
They see him though.
Wow.
Oh man.
Oh no. ShamWow, it was a bait. He gets the Slicing Maelstrom off, but it's just not enough to take down anyone. But Spyro gets one off the back end. Now the re-engage coming in from MSU. Mexican Thunder's in trouble, has to run away, but there's no escape. Sunlight just chasing him down. It's Doomfully and Spyro left to defend against the whole team of MSU minus Nightshade. But let's be honest, Yasuo is not the threat, it's Dillerin. This Vayne is doing so much damage, and this just might be game.
Yeah, they're pushing really hard. It's 24 minutes in. Michigan State were down, and this Mundo was just getting bullied in the top side. He weathered the storm. He didn't give up too many kills. His only death is that one that was early, and then, oh.
Doomfully almost caught out there. Spyro doing what he can. The wave is getting cold here at Michigan State University. Might be taking too long to try and engage onto Spyro. No turrets left alive, but the team is spawning for University of Michigan, and they should be able to fight off MSU at their nexus. Man, Michigan State University not able to put the final nails in the coffin. They'll have to go for a reset.
I still don't understand how there's no Grievous Wounds here. Now I'm just sounding like a broken record. There's literally nothing.
Yeah. I mean, potential. The ShamWow's building towards it with that Blasting Wand. Could go into that Morellonomicon, but it can take a little bit of time to get that. And you definitely are looking at Spyro and Doomfully saying, where's the Executioner's Calling? It's so easy to just auto-attack the Mundo once, auto-attack the Gragas once, and that's your job for the fight. Then you can focus on the carries if you need to, but we'll see if they have the time to get it. You need the gold first.
What do you buy next on Kaisa that has pickaxe in it? He already has the Rage Blade.
Armor penetrate?
He already has the Manamune. Normally you get 2 pickaxe early to get Q evolve, and he's still got a pickaxe.
Is it going to be the legendary Infinity Edge,
Yeah,
Kaisa?
I'm like, I don't know. He doesn't have enough crit to really back that up. But I guess if he thinks so, like, I would just say instead of that pickaxe, just having, because like, all right, hear me out. By the time you get IE, the game's probably over.
I'll hear you out after this team fight happens. ShamWow looking for the engage. He's able to take down Nightshade. Dillaran's in trouble as well, but the Slicing Maelstrom is
They're
down
trying to kill this
ShamWow.
Mundo.
Dillaran's going forward. ShamWow has to disengage, and they can't kill the Mundo. Sunlight's just walking into the team of University of Michigan. Their two
And now
carries
he's like,
can
oh,
do
alley-oop,
nothing.
here you go,
Oh,
here's a Mundo.
Spyro. Oh, you hate to see it. He's gonna go down. Sunlight.
Why does nobody have grievous wounds? I swear to God, I told you. Why would you get IE?
Oh, Michigan struggle in the first game, and Michigan State University will take it, take down the Nexus, and win game 1.
I'm actually just like appalled. That was, in my opinion, a magnificent throw because it takes 800 gold to buy Executioner's Calling. You buy a pickaxe, and it's like, people are like, oh, he's probably going for IE. I'm like, by the time you get enough gold for BF Sword and your Critical Strike Cloak and all that, and like getting it all together, it's like, it's never going to happen. You're not going to have it in time.
Yeah, and also the build from ShamWow, I understand the Kedded. You're trying to nuke people. You're trying to be that huge AP threat, but he didn't have the magic penetration, and he didn't have the grievous wounds. He went for the Rabadons, the Spellbinder, the Proto Belt. It's a build that can work against a squishy comp, but you're right. They needed something to kill these tanks, and this play right here.
Oh, it's a heartbreaker there because
Yeah.
this is also one of the plays where you're sitting there going, ShamWow is trying his damnedest. He has been in this game the whole time, but he went for a death cap immediately. He didn't go for the team fight utility. He didn't go for something that's going to have the Zanyas, that's going to give him anything to stop the Mundo. He went for pure backline damage. They were basically saying, screw the Mundo, we're going to kill the backline. But that is not what would happen, because as soon as they dive the backline, Mundo's all over theirs.
And again, without the magic penetration either, we saw it. I mean, that time he tried to teleport in to get the flank. If it had worked, maybe. There was another time where he did get a flank in onto the Vayne, but as soon as Vayne sees Kennen, she just condemns you away, and you don't have enough burst to actually eliminate that threat as ShamWow. So questions around the builds for sure from University of Michigan. However, the decision-making seemed to be there in the early game. They were doing very well in those early skirmishes where Michigan State, they were making some mistakes. They were giving up some of those fights, but we just reached a point where it felt like Michigan State hit their stride, and they just didn't look back after that.
Yeah, and it was really, they kind of got through the early game. The Yasuo stopped dying, I think, is a big key to it.
That always helps.
And when I was watching kind of the early game setup, I thought they were going to be doomed because they lost the top lane, they didn't have successful ganks mid, and they lost the bottom lane. I think when Dillaran was able to actually get kills on Vayne in that 2-on-2, I think that's when they started clawing their way back in, because if that doesn't happen, it's a much wider gap when they reach that mid game. And they can't rely on the Vayne, who's been solo farming and split pushing in the side lane, and he's not going to be as strong.
Hitting the solo XP and the solo gold did help, but the kills helped absolutely more. But we're going to send it over to Return to break down more of just how MSU was able to clutch that win.
Yeah, definitely a hard-fought game, but I'd say word of the day, gonna have to be throw here for University of Michigan, is definitely they had a lot of control of that early game, but what we're gonna be looking at here is what happened during that transition between the mid game and the late game where everything kind of went kaput. So looking at this replay, this may look familiar because it is right before a Baronin as an all too familiar sight during this Michigan game. You can see the Mexican Thunder is out here grabbing vision, getting absolutely taken away, and you really have to wonder because you're looking at all the possible escape routes. You have down here, you have up here by the red buff, and here upside it as well. And you can really get a feeling for how University of Michigan are feeling as this play does develop. And as you roll this one out, you can see that it is a quick pick onto Mexican Thunder, taking the one out around the Baron. And now comes down to the main decision-making that University of Michigan has to show here. And we'll pause once again right as we do set up that Michigan, you know, you got two options. You either go in towards this Baron or you just let off control and look potentially towards this bottom side of the map here. No objectives up, but you can set up some dragon control and get that bot lane a pushing. And as you can see, University of Michigan, they're going to go right on in. And normally, when you have the Kennen, you're looking for some way to get onto this backline here, but that is not the route that they choose. They decide to go for a full-on 4v5, not really able to lock down Dillaran at all. Spyro goes right onto the backline, shown the door very quickly. And then, of course, Doomfully getting the nice double jump onto the backline. Unfortunately, once again, going to be taken out almost instantaneously. So despite being at a 45 disadvantage, not having a TP flank ward available, and already losing the Leona before they even started the fight, you go for that play, and you just take a bad situation and make it even worse.
And after reviewing that play, I think it's so impressive what Gragas was able to do in that fight. Yes, you're a support player switching to the jungle role, but you still understand a lot of support players are engaged. They are peel for their team. So playing the Gragas sometimes is a similar deal, and just blocking that cannon, preventing ShamWow from getting onto your backline. We saw it there. Sacrificed his life. He said, okay, I'm just going to body slam the cannon. I'm going to blow up immediately, but will buy time for my backline to reposition and win the fight.
Yeah, and I think that's a very critical thing you pointed out there. Because I think a lot of junglers, myself included, fall into a trap where you have to kind of balance between engage and peel a lot of the times with having strong engaged tools, especially when it's Gragas Yasuo as like a combination. So you have to kind of balance the idea of, I need to enable my win condition of the Yasuo getting to the backline and destroying the team, but I also need to prevent their win condition of Kennen reaching my backline. So in that moment, he goes for the prevention instead of the execution and the aggression, and I think that's what makes the difference, is he already has other people that can win the game without having him set the Yasuo up. I think the Yasuo was one of the least important factors in that game overall, and he wasn't focused on that. He wasn't tunneled on, we picked this for this combination. He's like, I'm just going to run zone defense. I'm going to make sure he doesn't reach our backline and just basically be alignment and stop him from getting in.
Yeah, impressive play for Michigan State University. It feels like regardless of having the substitutes in, their synergy is very strong. But make sure that you give us a like, give us a follow on social media at ESL Collegiate, ESL LOL on Twitter. And you can also join in on the fun for voting on the Cast and Chat Chowdown Grubhub at the end of the show. We're going to send it over to a short break before we're back with more big BTN action, as yet again Michigan State looking to continue their undefeated record. University of Michigan hoping to keep the same dream alive, taking down MSU. Hello and welcome back to the Game 2 as we're preparing in Week 3 of the BTN 2019 Invitational. Michigan State University find themselves up 1-0 in the series against University of Michigan in the deciding match to see who will remain undefeated in this week. University of Michigan had a great early game. They were controlling for the vast majority up to 15 minutes, but Michigan State University hit their stride and they ran away with it.
And you know what's so funny is I didn't mean to set it up this way, but when I talked about Sunlight in the top lane, and I'm like, oh, he plays things like Garen and he plays it with Ignite instead of Teleport, even before it was meta. And he gets away with these things that like people usually don't play against. It's like looked like nobody knew what Grievous Wounds was. So I think the Mundo pick worked out, paid off in spades, and really stumped the enemy team because maybe it was something they just hadn't played against in a long time.
Yeah, it seemed like that was a comp that they weren't obviously like fully aware about. Like, okay, same point with you, Grievous Wounds. It's 800 gold. Just spend it, and you're probably winning a majority of those mid-game fights. But for me, it was really disappointing, not only with the builds out of University of Michigan, but also just how kind of lackadaisically they approached that mid to late game. I mean, the early game looked fantastic. They were shutting down Michigan State, especially like not allowing them to really emphasize on a huge mid combination play. But once we got into late game, it seemed like everyone was just kind of scratching their heads. How do we get this? And Michigan State, early game didn't look clean, but mid-game, they knew what they were doing. They were together, they were as 5, and they were just pulling the trigger left and right.
Yeah, a lot of thoughts for University of Michigan going into this game number 2 to see how they can turn it around and hopefully make the reverse sweep happen in this match. But before we get into game number 2, I just want to give another thank you to our partner, AnyKey. If you have not yet, make sure that you go and take the GLHF pledge. Good luck, have fun, and fight online toxicity in gaming. You take the pledge, you get a little Twitch banner next to your name. So in Twitch chat, we can all know who has taken the pledge. I've done it. I know my 2 analysts have done it as well. So you can join in too. And to hear more about the AnyKey pledge, let's send it over to some other partners that we have.
Hi, my name is D1 Ala Mengret.
Hi, my name is Sue Lee. My handle is Smix.
My name is Jordan Gilbert, aka Nothing.
My name is Bill Carter. My handle is Jump.
My name is Christopher Michaels, better known as Monte Cristo.
Hey guys, I'm Michelle Morrow, and I'm on-camera talent for both esports and the world of entertainment.
I think it's important that people are made aware that their behavior is not acceptable if you're going to throw out bigoted terms or target somebody for that kind of harassment.
So dealing with toxicity, even just on a normal day-to-day basis, when I game, I just like to be sort of an anonymous gamer, and to this day, I am scared to use my mic.
I think that anytime you can sit someone down that has a negative mindset or has a sense of toxicity, think about who you're affecting.
If I had the ability to confront a troll face-to-face, they would not be the keyboard warrior that they are inside of the game.
The GLHF pledge is super important. Anything that's encouraging people to promote positivity, to promote understanding, to promote sympathy.
It's cool to see that people are going above and beyond to be a voice for those from a community that may not be as well represented in gaming. You do matter.
GLHF.
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 Good luck. Have fun.
Thank you, AnyKey and GLHF, everybody. Make sure that you go and sign that pledge. Another thank you to our other sponsor or partner in Grubhub. Make sure that you go on, download the app, and visit the link below so you can get $15 off your first order with Grubhub. I know that we get to eat some delicious food later on today. I'm excited for it, so also hop on to social media, onto Twitter, so that you can vote on what foods we will be eating. But that is after the broadcast today. We still got another game ahead of us, maybe even 2. This is to determine who is still the top of the Eastern Conference, Michigan State versus University of Michigan. So we saw the early game play out well for University of Michigan. Where did it really slip away from them in your eyes?
Oh boy, I think it really slipped away from them. I'm trying to pinpoint a good moment because I think it was right before the fight that you went over where the Leona got caught. I think it might have been like one fight before that it wasn't quite the Rift Herald, but it was, yeah, it might have been one of these overextensions here too. Yeah, actually I think this is really where it did. This is actually 100%. Oh my God. Wait a second. They read my brain, and even though my brain wasn't that good. So this is the fight that I'm actually thinking of here, where they kite backwards, and it just takes them long enough that the Mundo, he has the Conqueror on, he's healing so much. And this is where I went, good God, somebody get Grievous Wounds. I was like, what are you doing? Just somebody get Grievous Wounds. And then the Vayne comes in, the Vayne gets multiple kills off of this, and he's already been solo farming in the side lane, so all the time that you spent into pressuring him, keeping him down, it's all moot.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of this was also
this right here.
With the Kennen going back over, and I think also what happened was before this, especially because you saw so much of Michigan State's just resources and pressure resources on the map were just put into get farm on Dillaran. He was off in the side lane farming for a good majority of the game. Like at 12 minutes, there's that whole Herald fight, which he wasn't a part of. And I feel like there's just a huge lack from University of Michigan in their ability to punish that and to get leads off of knowing, there's going to be a 4v5 here where there's just huge split up. And he's farming. He's just farming for majority
This
of
is
that
the
early
Dillaran
game.
highlight from, pre-15 minutes.
Well, I mean, that's literally all he did pre-15 minutes, except for that one kill where he was able to get them in the 2-on-2, or I guess catch him in the 1-on-2, and kind of punish a bad backtimer from Leona. The other thing that I think was really big about the previous fight is that Yasuo got the 950 gold shutdown from Kennen, and he had been feeding his butt off to that point.
Yeah.
No joke. He was an inting Yasuo, and he got 1,000 gold, and it's just like, all of his sins have been, this is, by the body of Kennen, by the body of ShamWow, he's been saved.
And was able to scale up. You get those items on the Yasuo, and they had the Gragas. They were able to pull off a few combinations. None of the ones as flashy as we sometimes see at professional high-level play at Worlds, but they played it well enough to get that W, and the Yasuo, like you said, did come back online eventually. So if you're at Michigan State University, are you looking to change anything up here in this draft phase?
I think Michigan State, you're pretty good to play as you have been. It's really relying on not only the fact that you have the late game insurance policies built in, like Dillaran on that vein, I think was a huge part of their eventual victory at the end of the day. But the fact that that Michigan's not going to be able to shut you out purely off this early game is, I think, a fact that you just keep relying on. And unless Michigan are going to be able to completely change the way they've been playing, I think that's something you can, once again, fall back on, really look forward to in the draft.
Well, we're seeing at Michigan State, this time with the whole draft visible to us, they're banning out some of these solo laners in the Rise and the Vladimir. University of Michigan, meanwhile, taking out the Draven and the Kale. So I'm excited to see, because you did take a peek at the pick order from the last game return. So break us down. What were the priorities in that last draft?
Yeah, and it was actually the same side, so Michigan State being on that blue side. Then when the Graga's first pick, immediately responded to by the Zach and Tristana. Tristana so early from Michigan definitely signals that's a high priority for them. They want to basically blind pick it whenever they can, and it is up and available.
But this time they're going for the Olaf for Michigan State instead. So very strong early jungler. It felt like when they locked in the Gragas, Zach was the answer for University of Michigan. You can't quite pick the Zach into the Olaf this time around.
Yeah, what ended up happening in this one is it's exactly the same bans, except that they dropped Olaf ban for Morgana. So the first pick Olaf comes through this time because it's that powerful power farm jungler, that early game pressure that they're going to have Moonlight on here. And up against somebody like Avenger, they want to push him to things that are less aggressive and things that he's less successful on. Remember, you think about Jarvan for Avenger. That's what he's been so successful on. He did have a Zac game, 2 Zac games in the past, so he's pretty much gone between those two. But Olaf versus Zac, you just destroy him in the early game. And that's what I'm worried about here is Michigan. Your boys are going to have to play some high priority early pressure lanes if you want to save your Zac here.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be, saving this counter pick. It has to be a top laner. It has to be mid laner. It has to be one that absolutely smashes laning phase. I mean, Tristana, I think, is still on the cards, especially if you want to pick it here with the third pickup. You get 2 bans away, make sure there's nothing that's hard counters you, but then really rely on just keeping the Zac alive, because you're right, Michigan State, if you shut down the Zac, you probably shut down the majority of their ability to play through the jungle.
Ooh, there's an Ari Hover coming in from Michigan State. We'll see if that's locked in. But University of Michigan do at least get that Leona. Again, Mexican Thunder is a very, very high comfort champion. It's fairly strong in the meta right now, and we've seen this player play it so many times. The Michigan State pulled the switcheroo, locking the Mordekaiser.
So yeah, with the Mordekaiser, I mean, you could pick it into either the soul lanes right now. So I mean, when we're saying that, Michigan's probably going to pick up on the soul lanes right here, one of them at that final pickup, it does throw a few more wrenches into that plan. I mean, the versus Tristana matchup, you do technically have the range, but anytime you're going into lockdown the Trist, there is that potential to hit the R and keep her in and then actually knock her down fully. But Michigan, no, they're not going to focus on mid unless, we've seen a little bit of the Ezreal mid lane. I don't think that's exactly where we're going, but...
Yeah, I don't think it is either. They picked the Ezreal here, which... Okay, it's a choice.
It's a choice. When Kai'Sa's up on the table and they felt comfortable playing it last time around.
Yeah, Kai'Sa and Xayah both up. They were able to pick whatever AD they wanted. So literally, right now in the game, they were told, you can pick literally any AD carry in the game right now and then ban 2 away. You can literally ban 2 of the counters away to whatever you pick. And they chose Ezreal and they banned Vayne. And that, to me, I'm just like,
Interesting.
they're just going to...
It makes me think that they're willing to sack the bot lane to an extent and just say, we're not playing around our bottom side. Dillaran was so strong in that last game, but Dillaran wasn't strong because they won the laning phase necessarily, so that's the surprising thing to me.
So I'm sitting here going, they already have Nautilus. If you're sacking the bottom lane, you're sacking the bottom side of the map here, and Zach's not going to have a blue buff.
Yeah.
So they're going to pick something like the Xayah or even the Kaisa on the side of Michigan State. That's way more wave clear than an Ezreal Leona paired with the Nautilus here, and you're just going to be able to dominate the jungle like you did last time.
And not only that, you basically now have a free scaling matchup. We already know that Dillaran likes those hard scaling matchups, especially like the Kaisa, Xayah that you mentioned before. Vayne and Jinx being the bans, I think it means Michigan know exactly that. But from a support perspective as well, you have to now just make use of the map. Mexican Thunder, if you stay in the laning phase, you're not doing anything. Ezreal's going to stand about 50 yards back. You have to be affecting mid lane. You have to be affecting top lane. If we don't see the Moby Boots roam top lane, they've just sacked this bottom half of the map for nothing.
But that might be University of Michigan's plan here. We've seen Mexican Thunder love to get out of lane in the past, so I would not be surprised to see those Moby Boots come through this time around. They still lock in the Yasuo. This time on University of Michigan's side, Michigan State not able to pair that with their Gragas this time around. But, I mean, UMich, they have Zach. That is a similar theory where the jungler comes in and ganks and can help set up that Yasuo ultimate, but not to the same extent that we see with the Gragas.
It's also a flex pick here, so it may go into the mid lane. I feel like they just want to pick it and then flex it around. I don't know that Mordekaiser matchup, but I assume it's decent.
It sounds very, very rough for the Yasuo. I think early.
I feel like you can avoid Q and E, but otherwise probably isn't that great. I think you can backwards win wall the E to prevent it from pulling you in.
Okay.
But, oh boy. Ha! All right. So he is not safe anywhere. And I think Michigan is like, we immediately regret this decision.
The Renekton locked in, I'm assuming, to go into whatever lane the Yasuo does go into. So this means University of Michigan, they have to choose what do they want to go into the Mordekaiser at this point. And do they trust Yasuo on either Doomfully or ShamWow? It looks like my assumption would be ShamWow on the Kennen in the top lane with the Yasuo mid.
Wow, oh, so at least somewhere you are at least getting the Kennen melee, range into melee matchup, so that is a thing. The big thing that I'm really concerned about is you have so many options now to lock down these solo laners and the bottom lane as well. And for Michigan State, what I'm seeing here is that they're going to be spending these early few levels finding which lane they're just going to make their lane kingdom. Once they use that to augment their jungle pressure, and from there, bye-bye Avenger. It's like, it's the first episode of Endgame. The Avengers might just go away just like that, but you know, Michigan's got their work cut out for them. It's just defend absolutely everywhere.
So who's Thanos in this situation? Who's the one snapping?
I'd call Moonlight Thanos at this point. He's the one that's going to be directly influencing everything falling apart.
I think that's fair enough.
I think so.
You know, he'll have the Sterix gauge. That's kind of like the Infinity Gauntlet, right? Something like that.
He gets the gem through the jungle item too.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my god.
That's why you got to sell it and buy it 5 times to get all 5 of the gems.
You should have gone to bed.
Well, we'll see what happens in this game too. Based on the drafts, it's hard to tell who I'm favoring for it, but based on the performance of that last game, I'm giving this one to Michigan State University. It feels like no matter how big of a hole they're put into, they always are able to climb out.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one. I think Michigan State, it looks like it's the name of the game is priority here. They have all winning lanes, winning jungler, and I think they're just going to smash this. Even though we look at something like the Kennen, I don't know if it's into the Mordekaiser or not. They were swapping it around, and Sunlight had it last I saw. So I'm going to assume that it's going to be the Renekton into the Yasuo, and they're going to put the Mordekaiser in the top side. So the shoving power that he has is greater than the Kennen's, and he can tank a lot of it with the shield and the durability. So I feel like they have shoving lanes. They're just going to find Avenger, who in my opinion has been the star player of the University of Michigan side, and they're just going to shut him down. If you neutralize him, he can't help other people. So I feel like Michigan State really have come into this prepared, and I think they're prepared to 2-0 the competition today.
Ooh, 2-0. Even given a game record on it. I guess
I mean, if they win this,
they win this, it makes sense. Return, what are you thinking?
I think I definitely would say Michigan State. There are just too many options for them to shut down the game plan at Michigan. I don't see where their carry points are reliably going to be unless somebody has an absolute pop-off performance in one of these solo lanes, which I think is more unlikely than it is likely. I think that Michigan State, not only they have the better team synergy, they have the better players in general. I think they got the better comp here.
I feel like somebody needs to clip the last prediction phase when it was all University of Michigan and then just show victory screen and then this prediction phase, and we're all like, I don't know what
if
to
you
say.
told me they weren't going to buy Executioner's Calling, I would have been like, well, they lose.
Yeah.
They insta-lose. Like,
I mean, if you cut off the last 15 minutes of the game, I think we are right in the prediction. But
All right, well, we'll see if we're all correct this time around, or if University of Michigan can clutch out a victory here. But either way, we're loaded into game number 2 and ready for the action.
Is there anything I learned about predictions? It's not if you're right or wrong. It's if the reasoning behind your prediction was sound.
It's did you have fun with your friends?
Really? Is that what it is?
That's my goal every time.
Friends.
Oh,
What
okay.
are those?
Well,
Anyway,
I try.
we're here to have fun, though.
Absolutely. Fun is the name of the game, but Michigan State University, they're not here to have fun. They're here to dominate right now. They want to keep this undefeated streak alive, and they want to do it with style here against the University of Michigan. We talked about the early composition focus here from MSU, and it's going to be really hard for University of Michigan to really survive that.
Yeah, I'm looking at ShamWow on the top side, see what priority he has. And you can see the Raptors, same ward coming down. He's going to actually start on the Raptors this time, leashless, so that there can be a push on the top side so that ShamWow has some semblance of shove. But now the question is, what's the next thing? And this is actually, like, when you watch all of the other games in Collegiate, you are not seeing wards like this. These are very prepared. This is very much so you are scouting your opponent and you understand what to do in the early game. There are wards at the blue buff. There are wards at both Raptors. And there are wards to spot if there is an Olaf running straight up to the red side of the Zach. So
yeah, it feels like University of Michigan learned from last time, saying, all right, let's get some counter vision of our own in here as well. But both junglers now on the top side of the map. It looks like Moonlight will be pathing towards the bottom half, and they do have that deep ward in. They know that Avenger is not down there and pathed up, so I would not be surprised to see an invade coming in here from Moonlight. He's on the Olaf, can go for early plays, and that's how Moonlight likes to play regardless.
yeah, I'm Avenger. I actually 3-camp clear level 3 back and then get boots and then go to the bottom side. I feel like that's probably the play here that I would go for. I feel like it's probably the most efficient use of his time. Don't think he's going to get a gank top lane unless he's going for a full-on dive. If he is going for a full-on dive, because there's nothing on the top side, he should know there's nothing on the top side to take. It's a waste of his time. So if he's going for a tower dive here and trying to use Zac passive, yeah, I think he's just hovering around. Now he's got to wait for Scuttle.
Ooh, feels like he's wasting a decent amount of
Yeah,
time
he's trapped.
here.
He's trapped there now.
Avenger does the full clear on the top side, but look at how slow it takes for the Zac compared to the Olaf. Moonlight's already level 4, already finished the entire clear bot side, and can still go for an invade.
And here's the thing. Look at the bottom side. They already have the Nautilus and Kaisa pushed up. The Olaf is going to go straight to that blue buff, and he's going to basically 9-camp.
Avengers has to pull this off. They go in. Good flash forward by the top lane Sunlight, but he's able to avoid the gank. Both flashes burned. Avenger and Sunlight. ShamWow tries to tank up first, but they don't pull it off. This is terrible for University of Michigan's early game. Look at what Moonlight can do now.
Yeah, he's going to take everything. He's going to actually get, what, 9 camps? Hold on.
On the bot side, just a little skirmish.
Yeah.
Trying to get some poke in onto Mexican Thunder.
He's going to take 9 camps by the time that Avenger takes 4, and he's going to actually take 10. So it'll be 10-4 when you look at the overall camps that are taken early game, and that is...
Ooh, another hook lands on a Mexican Thunder back to back. This is what they're trying to do, is just punish the Leona. Oh, they even have Olaf here. Moonlight might not even go for that Scuttle. They have the ward down. They know that the Olaf's in the neighborhood.
Yeah, there's no heal, too, because these guys both took teleport on their marksman.
And mid lane, Avenger, he takes that Scuttle and really nothing else to do. Tries to make a play on the mid side, ganking onto Doomfully, but it doesn't work. So Avenger doing what he can to stay relevant, but now 2 levels down on Moonlight. Moonlight is really questioning me, or making me question if he really is a support player subbed into the jungle.
I mean, the thing is there's a... I want to kind of explain this as best I can without like really bogging things down. I feel like there's a playing around your jungler and junglers playing around lanes. And what Avenger's doing is Avenger's playing around his lanes and he has to kind of go to them and be their slave. Whereas on the opposite side, the jungle is being played around, where Moonlight, he has his bottom lane shoving for priority. He's able to actually get as many camps as possible. They're warding for him appropriately. So it's just this big thing where the jungler gives back after he's been given 2, versus Avenger, he's trying to give to his lanes, so hoping that one day they will give back to him. But it puts him in a deficit early. So the thing that he's gotten is he's traded Flash for the top lane Flash. If he's able to actually eventually cash this in and ShamWow somehow gets a kill or gets an advantage, that's where he's been given back to.
But the unfortunate thing is he hasn't even gotten any of his laners into an advantageous position. Bot side, even right now, mid lane, we see the Renekton counterpick into the Yasuo playing out beautifully, but Doomfully's trying to make the better of it in this 1v1. Gets a flash out of Nightshade, misses the knock up for the ult follow-up. So good play by Nightshade to sidestep that one.
Yep, and Moonlight's going to solo this dragon, and that's going to be, you know, once again, this is the jungler getting help from his lanes. They all pushed up, they got him priority, and now he's giving back to him already. It's not in the form of kills, it's in the form of pressure, and it's in the form of a Drake that's going to help sustain them.
Yeah, the early game jungling from Moonlight is beautiful right now. Mankato State University, we're not seeing it on the scoreboard yet, but we can feel the lead that they have right now. ShamWow doing all right in the 1v1 top side, but look at the mid lane here. Doomfully almost goes down to Nightshade, even with Avenger coming in for a gank. Level 4 on this Zac, and Nightshade is not afraid of that at all. Can push this wave in and feel just fine, but as that play just shook out, let's send it over to Return for an update on what's happening elsewhere in the tournament.
Thanks, guys. And of course, elsewhere in the tournament, we have a heated battle between Maryland and The Ohio State University. And after some dominant laning phases out of Maryland, they came up against the terror known as late game Kale with a little bit of a deficit trying to end out the game. But of course, as The Ohio State would learn the hard way, there is more than one way to end a game of League of Legends. So while this play was happening in that bottom side of the map, take a quick look over at the top side of the map, or at the main map I'm currently covering up, and you can see the Sprinter was able to end this game through a split push in the top lane, putting Maryland up 1-0 in this series. Back to you guys.
A split push to end the game. Also, I think that was the first time I've seen Senna in BTN Preseason Invitational, so you know, good on OSU, trying to pull it out. Rough that they didn't get the W there, but back to the game at hand. Michigan State University find themselves still in a very advantageous position in this early game here. The lanes are doing great. The jungle is doing amazing.
Wow. The fact that his bottom lane hasn't died yet is a blessing to Avenger, because now he's like, I'm sorry, man, I didn't route correctly. You know, and now he's just picking up the scraps. And the fact that Moonlight has just gotten a Drake off of it and some pressure, not the end of the world.
And look at the vision line here from Michigan State University. They're protecting their bot side so well. Not only does this prevent Avengers from ganking, but it also prevents Mexican Thunder from getting out of this lane and roaming around like the Leona would like to do. But here's a play from Doomfully trying to lock down Nightshade. They can't lock him down indefinitely, and now Argentum Skies come in with the roam. Good wind wall from Doomfully trying to lock him down, but Avenger could be in some trouble. Throws out the ult to disengage as Moonlight can't get to the fight fast enough.
Yeah, and now it's time to push up to the top side. Olaf is going to track the Zac as the Zac wants to go top, and ShamWow underneath the turret. Might be an ultimate that comes through from the Mordekaiser. We'll see.
Could look for it here. Actually, ooh, barely misses that. You got to imagine that would have been a kill if that had gone through. So ShamWow able to dodge away, has the flash and Slicing Maelstrom. So because Moonlight did not actually come up for a potential gank, Avenger could look for this. Sunlight's pushed in. That ult is such a good option.
Yeah, but you can't chase too far. Then Mordekaiser will just ulti.
He's got the ult available, and a pause comes through in the game. Avenger doesn't want to commit to the full gank there, but trying to help out ShamWow. Again, like you said, since the beginning, been playing bodyguard for these laners and trying to give so much to them and enable them. So far, it hasn't been working too well.
Yeah, and like I said at the start, like you've picked a losing jungle, right? The Olaf was first picked. You picked the Zac, 100% losing jungle, and then you actually opted into all losing lanes. Everybody in this game just loses their lane. The Cannon was maybe going to be a winning lane versus something like a Renekton for a little bit, but I honestly feel like they're just really outmatched here in these lanes. They're just slowly losing. If the game state stays as it is, they'll just get run over by just this gold lead that'll keep compounding. And you even have the Kennen, who has Kleptomancy, and he's sitting on 3 bags of gold that he hasn't cashed in yet, so he will get some in the future. But remember when the Ezreal was locked in, and I was like, they literally could pick any AD here. Any AD. Pick an AD, any AD, and you can ban 2. And they left Kai'Sa and Xayah up 2 wave clear marksmen. They already saw the Nautilus, and then they picked Ezreal. And I was like, they're never going to, they just sack the whole bottom side of the map.
And especially when MSU is a team known for playing around Dillaran. This is their hard carry player. When the pressure is high, this bot laner is the one that oftentimes will step up for MSU. So University of Michigan, I mean, it was a bold strategy in the draft phase. So far, it has not been working out for them here. We haven't even seen Mexican Thunder roaming around to take advantage of
this'll be good.
ability, but here's the engage in onto Nighthawk. They get the combination. Is this going to be first blood? It is. Over to Doomfully.
Yeah, and this is honestly the best thing they could hope for here. They got the kill. It went over to the Yasuo. It's a first blood, and Doomfully now has a way to kind of take over this game slowly but surely. The Renekton is scaling up, though. He's going to have that Shojin pretty soon, so you want to get ahead of that curve as the Yasuo, who's basically been losing in CS the entire game. So not really too many places he can go to. Avenger has been locked in. He's ganking lanes that he's 3 levels below, so he's just a knockup bot. And if they were able to keep getting more and more HP, he just becomes less and less effective in these ganks. So I really feel like this is exactly what they needed. They couldn't have really hoped for too much more. And now,
Sunlight catching out Shamwow as he walks forward to try and drop that ward, but the ulti comes in, slicing Maelstrom, but he's not in turret range quite yet. Sunlight will just walk under the turret. Can he actually get it? The Proto Belt to finish it off, and Sunlight gets the 1v1.
And Sunlight really just wanted that payback for game 1. Gets the solo kill on him, says this is for the Mundo Cannon matchup. Able to turn this one around, and it's just a disaster for Michigan. I feel like their draft has just been all over the place. They sacrificed bottom lane. They didn't even pick a wave clear bot side. And you said it, where it was like, well, maybe they want Mexican Thunder to roam, and then the Ezreal can just play safe. I'm like, no, that's not how the game works anymore. You can't just say, oh, my support will roam, and my marksman will be safe. It's like, no. You pick something that has wave clear, shove it to their turret so they have to sit there, and then your support can go roam. You're just basically saying you're going to have a 1v2 situation. You're sacrificing a lot to do that, and I don't think it's effective at all.
Sacrifice is the name of the game. Doomfully in a 1v2 situation under turret. Might just get out of this one. Oh, one final auto will take it for Nightshade, but it's a trade as tag team turrets will help out Doomfully. But man, you can see how much MSU want to pressure this lead that they have. 1,500, and they're really putting on the gas.
Yeah, and that's, he's just going to go over the wall there. Okay. They have to avoid Moonlight. This guy's much faster now.
Play on the bot side. Dillaran does so much more damage. Oh, Spyro gets deleted. Mexican Thunder has the flash. Might need to use it to get away here. Does flash over the wall, but Dillaran had held the ultimate this whole time. Mexican Thunder will fall as well. One more auto should do it. Actually, just throw out the Q, and that's a double kill over to Dillaran.
I just can't believe the concept of trying to play an AD carry that's safe when there's so many up that you can just contest waves with. I think it's a foolish thing in draft to give up priority, sacrifice it, hand it to your opponents, and say, please don't hurt me that much. And that's exactly what they did. Even if it's like, oh, the AD carry can play safe, this doesn't look too safe to me. Instantly popped in the combo, just such a great combination of Nautilus and Kaisa. And then right here, flashes over, gets the auto, and so he's able to use the ultimate to follow him afterward. No need to use the flash there from Dillaran, so he has it for the next one.
Oh, but another fight breaking out in the mid side. After losing that bot, it looks like University of Michigan are at least able to make something happen in the mid lane. Now Dillaran could be in trouble as well. Oh, dodges the Zenith Blade and no solar flare available, but now 1-1 on the top side. Shamwow trying to take down Sunlight. Might lose this one out. You got to wait for your cooldowns to come back up. He gets a good chunk initially, but now will back off. Sunlight, that was action in all 3 lanes simultaneously right there. Teams with killer instincts for sure, as Michigan State University still with this gold lead. They need to be patient and look for the right engages. They can't get caught out. We didn't see the start of that play, but Moonlight giving over that kill. Doomfully 3-1 on the Yasuo. This is definitely the enemy team's Yasuo in your solo queue games right now. Looking quite strong on the top side. Oh, Shamwow again will get solo killed by Sunlight. Oh, this 1v1 matchup is not going well.
Oh, he just walks up slowly and down smashes him.
Is that a Smash Bros reference?
Yes,
right
it is. It is, my friend.
Fair enough. What's your main?
Oh, Marth.
Marth.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a Captain Falcon man.
Even though
Man of taste myself.
Even though Lucina is technically better, you know, I'm not gonna go into
We don't want to get into the intricacies.
Yeah.
Of it. Respectable.
Too intricate for
regardless.
this.
But things are not looking great for University of Michigan at this point in time. 3,500 gold behind. They haven't lost a turret yet. That's the one final hope that they have, is that no structures are broken. And as I say it, of course, Caster Curse, the top turret will fall to Sunlight. This is just what happens when you get 2 solo kills.
Yeah, I mean, Mordekaiser is a big snowball champion too. I really feel like when people get a good kind of handle on him, he just becomes a big ball of stats, and he steals stats from other people with his ultimate.
Oh, dude, went way too far forward. Gets shut down, but the Slicing Maelstrom might just be enough from ShamWow. Moonlight says, not today. Gets a double kill and turns that fight around. Beautiful from MSU, as now they might catch out Avenger. They get the Zac ultimate and push him off of that jungle.
Yep, and now I think they're just going to go for this turret.
Mid turret will fall. MSU looking, no, not looking for more. I thought that they might go for something there, but Mexican Thunders roam along with Spyro. They'll be able to catch this mid wave, but University of Michigan definitely on the back foot right now. MSU making back-to-back plays at turrets.
Yeah, and this Dragon's going to be coming up soon.
Even got the bot turret.
Yeah, they got all of them. They've basically cleared that whole outer wave. The early game composition is completely online, and this comp really does spike pretty much across the board at 1 and 2 items. You have the 2 items that would come in for the Mordekaiser, and he just outstats a lot of people. The same thing for the Olaf early game. Kind of pressure, I would say tempo, and 2 items. And the Renekton, absolutely. Getting the CDR items together, getting the Shojin and the Black Cleaver. He's really going to do so much damage at this midpoint in the game that I feel like this team is going to end the game somewhere in like 22-ish minutes. Is really what I feel is going to happen here, because they already have the second item here for Sunlight.
Yeah, if they can keep up the pressure that they have been outputting. Interesting to note that this didn't play out exactly how I expected it to. When you look at the Renekton into Yasuo, I think of that as a heavily favored Renekton matchup. But Nightshade was getting back-to-back ganked by Avenger, being a little aggressive and losing out a little in this lane. That's why we see 1 and 3, but it doesn't matter. Because like you said, University of Michigan, they did not draft winning lanes anywhere. So MSU was able to take advantage of the top side and the bot side, and that is really where their lead is coming.
And when you can track the jungler, all of your winning lanes get to win lane and not be paranoid about the fog of war. When Olaf just goes in and goes, oh, okay, we know exactly where he is. It's like, oh, we can just push this lane in, wave clear, make them miss CS under turret, deny them CS. And that's what was happening. The CS still hasn't recovered in any of these lanes where they're up 40 CS top, up 30 CS in the mid lane, and up 20 CS in the bot side, and there's a TP just to have momentum and pressure on this bot side of the map.
They're pushing in.
There's got to be recalls on the top.
Yeah.
The Kennon's proxying. He's got to look for something like a teleport or back.
There's no teleport flank ward zone.
Yeah,
Let's get the vision control from MSU on the bottom side. There's 4 control wards lighting up the jungle here for University of Michigan. There's nothing that UMich can do at this point in time. They just have to weather the storm and try and hold up at these inhibitor turrets. But MSU, their gold lead just went from 4,000 to 7,000 in the blink of an eye after taking 3 turrets rapid fire. Just beautiful stuff here from MSU.
And I think what really was my hesitation in putting my prediction for MSU in the first game was that there was a substitute coming in. That we had seen him, sure, but I still feel like when you have a sub and it's the top 2 teams, it can kind of put I would say, an extra weight on your team. Here, the reason that we all flip-flopped to the other side immediately was just they looked so damn clean, even when they were behind, even when they had a sub, and that just makes me go, Michigan State, they are the real deal. They are very scary. This is the team that took Illinois, heavy favorites, to 5 games in the finals and could have easily just toppled them and won the whole thing. It's like, all right, well.
This is University of Michigan that took that Michigan State University to 5 games in the semifinals. So to see this big of a disparity now in the preseason, for MSU fans, great news for sure. But for University of Michigan fans, they got to be thinking, okay, what is going to be changed in this preseason? What can we improve on as we look to make an impact in the Eastern Conference of the BTN?
Yeah. And this will be a rematch, too, because these are the number 1 and 2 teams that will be coming out of the East. They are the top 2. So it'll be If Michigan State University closes this out, they will have side selection in that finals in 1, 3, and 5. But right here,
Avenger.
it's actually 2v4.
But this is all members of University of Michigan just punishing the over-aggression of MSU. Only 2 members from Michigan State were there. Maybe getting a little too cocky as Dillerin trying to keep his support alive, but says, nope, there's no chance there. Double kill over to Doomfully.
15 seconds on the Baron, 25 seconds on Nightshade, 24 seconds on Argentum. If you are able to have this Kennen kind of hold out, this could be a Baron here, or at least using all these control wards to bait a fight. That's the blue trinket already used to see the setup. That is the oh my gosh, the Voidseeker already used to see if there's somebody hanging out there. Moonlight's gonna have to steal this, or they're gonna have this fight. He's gonna look for it. Zach's gonna go.
Ragnarok available, but their Avenger, he tries to turn. They go off of the Baron to take the fight. Mexican Thunder has to pop the stopwatch. This could be a lost fight. Look at how strong MSU are. They already take down Avenger, but the Slicing Maelstrom from ShamWow might be able to turn the fight. It doesn't do as much damage this time around. He will go down. Dillerin onto the backline. MSU are gonna take the fight, and Doomfully, the only surviving member, not for long, throws out the knockup, gets the shutdown, but is taken down himself. MSU will claim the team fight.
That was just a complete slaughter there. Michigan State University are able to clean up in a numbers disadvantaged fight. We have to see one more time exactly what happened, because where's this teleport? Where is that? Why is the teleport all the way over there? It's Kennen's teleported. What the?
There were definitely other options for that teleport to come in.
Look at him waddle into the fight.
Oh, it doesn't even lock down 3 members, just onto Sunlight. And this is not the same build on the Kennen that we saw last time where ShamWow was able to pop people. This is Michigan State University running away with this game. 11,000 gold lead, 3 dragons to 0, 5 turrets to 0. And Michigan State University are definitively claiming that they are the kings of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, the Kennen takes too long to get in. He flashes in, and he gets ultied by the Mordekaiser. So he's not ultiing the team. The Mordekaiser was a kind of a prediction in terms of pick to shut down the Kennen. It matches up well. They pick the Kennen into it, and I don't think he's ever going to make that mistake ever again in his life, because this matchup is pretty bad. You just remove the Kennen from the fights, and that's exactly what happened. I feel like they had so much time to be on the Baron. What they could have done is they could have just gone onto the Baron. They could have put more pressure onto them. They didn't have to take that fight then. They had a lot of time to whittle it down, get it down, make the kind of positioning of Michigan State falter a tiny bit. They could have teleported in on that deeper ward and protected it while he came in to either have him assist in the Baron or get closer, but it just took so long for him to actually get into that fight. That was a disgusting setup in terms of disgustingly bad.
Michigan State University capitalize on the misplays very aggressively. They get this vision controller on the bot side yet again. They get the dragon, and they shut down the Fed member of Doomfully.
This is the opposite Yasuo. Last game, it was Yasuo starts 0-5, ends 6-5. This one, he starts like 6-1, goes 6-4. It's like, if you're fed as Yasuo, you're... So this is the thing, is I think Yasuo players, hear me out, when they get fed, they start feeding afterwards because they think they're so damn strong. You think you're so damn cute with all your items, all your
the confidence level just skyrockets.
And then if they start inting, they go, man, I need to clean up my play. I need to play better. And then they're on their game, come in those mid-game fights, and then they start popping off from there because they've already had that experience of screwing up in the game that they try to tighten it up.
So what you're telling me is that the 0-10 Yasuo power spike
is better than the
real.
10-0.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to confirm that. Just for the records, Irene.
A 10-0 Yasuo is more likely to throw the entire game than a 0-10 Yasuo is, because he's already thrown it. So
there's no game to throw at that point.
Exactly.
It's theirs to pass back to you.
And that burden is just lifted off of his shoulders. He's like, I can end this team fight, and it wouldn't matter. I've already done this.
I've already.
But I could become a god in the next few seconds.
When the expectations are low, that's when, you know, you're at your most comfortable, right? But here, ShamWow almost getting caught out by Moonlight. The Olaf too far forward now, though. It's a turnaround for Michigan State University. ShamWow is in so much trouble. Mexican Thunder will go down very quickly. Sunlight gets that kill, and this is it. MSU are pushing into the base. A double kill for Sunlight. They don't want Spyro to get away. Dillerin will pick that one up, and MSU will say, who was even questioning? We are definitively the best team in the BTN Preseason Invitational Eastern Conference. They will continue their undefeated streak as they claim the Nexus turrets. Getting distracted by ShamWow. They got to think about KD. Oh, ShamWow does a lot of damage with a double kill. You know what? What a way to end the series. MSU will still take it and remain undefeated.
And honestly, MSU just looked so damn dominant in that game and that entire series because they were playing with a substitute. That, I know, sometimes there's a situation where the substitute comes in and you're like, man, this guy's like Jeremy Lin. Like, what's going on? This guy's popping off. But in this situation, it's like their substitute is damn good, but the fact that they moved and role swapped their main person, Moonlight, to the jungle, and he looked fantastic there.
Yeah.
Swap him back to support, and you're just like, he isn't even the best jungler on the roster.
Right?
He's even the best jungler on the roster.
And they, I mean, I think this definitively proves why Olaf is banned against this player. The Gragas looked clean. The Olaf looked insane. That early game, I am surprised that Moonlight is a support because the understanding of how much control Moonlight had over that Zac, over Avenger, and being basically double the jungle clear for the entire game, that's nuts.
Yeah, and I feel like we talked about Avenger in pretty much every single game that he played. He was a star player. He was popping off. His Jarvan was just unstoppable. They say, you aren't getting that Jarvan. We're not going to make that mistake so you can even get a game off us and make us realize we have to ban it. They ban it. He defaults to the Zac afterwards because they've seen this pattern from him. They're like, he's not going to pick Gragas. He's not going to pick Olaf. None of this stuff. Defaults to the Zac secondary. And they're able to control that jungle. It's very vulnerable. So they just put the pressure on. They play as a team early, and we're having 24-minute games in between the number 1 and 2 team.
Yeah, felt like Michigan State University yet again understood the draft very well. They came in with a plan. Like you said, taking away the J4, trusting that they could beat the Zac, especially after that game 1. And University of Michigan, while they tried something new in game 2, I didn't like it as much as their composition from game 1. We harped on it a little bit earlier on, and we saw why it didn't work. When the Leona's stuck in lane with that Ezreal and can't roam around, when you're not getting any leads on the bot side, it's so much harder to play when you have those losing solo lanes here.
And then this was kind of the desperation move. There's already a Spear of Shojin. This has already snowballed out of control, and the Yasuo was the Fed member, so all they had to do was take all those people who are fed in the side lanes for Michigan State University and just collapse them in and just strangle the Yasuo. And he was just out of the game at that point, and we saw him die back to back to back because he couldn't go in, and he's up against a bunch of melees. He has to be in range of the Mordekaiser. He has to be in range of the Renekton to deal damage, and then he just gets obliterated.
The early game ganks from Avenger, I think you summed it up. It felt like Avenger could not play for his own jungle. He had to play for his lanes. And while it did work out a couple times in the early game, he did have some successful ganks to get that Yasuo to that 3-1 position where it felt like, okay, maybe University of Michigan can play around a strong mid lane. It was the rest of the map that was falling apart at that point, and Michigan State University was able to close it out from there.
Yeah, I just feel like Michigan State University, they have to look at that draft, and they just gave too much away. When I talk about giving things away in the draft, it's priority. When you are drafting, you are trying to get favorable matchups. You are trying to set your lanes up to have good pushing so that you can control the jungle and control the pace of the game or control key players, and they did none of those things. They drafted losing lanes. They didn't even get their counterpick to be efficient or effective, and they made it so that they had no priority to protect their jungle at all. So he literally got one quadrant of the jungle for the first 5 minutes of the game, and that's just not enough to go off of there. And it really, really to me stands out that there has to be some changes to the draft, or at least the champion pools of some of these players, if they really want to beat Michigan State University, because they will play them again in the finals that will be in a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on the Eastern Conference. For now, Michigan State University can rest easy knowing that they are definitively the best team, still undefeated. And to talk about this victory, we have the mid laner. I am Nightshade. Nightshade, thanks for coming by and chatting with us today. How you feeling after the lose lane win game that just happened right there?
Okay, well, it wasn't that much of a lose lane. I had a big freeze, so I was up 40 CS, and I was up a level and a half. So I think that's worth
What about the Yasuo game?
Okay, he got soul killed under tower through exhaust, so that was mid difference right there.
Yeah, I thought the exhaust was super late on that too.
That was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Well, regardless, definitely, like you said, better mid laner wins on that one. You outplayed a few times there. So what do you think was kind of the biggest factor in this series altogether for your victory?
I think it was just our draft, since we didn't have our superstar jungler RBM this week. So we just really focused on draft and played to our strong lanes. So then once he gets back, we'll be able to play how we usually play.
So we haven't seen RBM on the roster in quite a while, and already, you're still undefeated. So I think Michigan State University definitively best in the East. And I know before there was conversation of who's the best overall, East or the West. You saw Illinois, some of the highlights yesterday in their match up against Minnesota. They're still undefeated right now. How are you feeling about your matchup against them potentially in a finals?
I still think it will be favored towards us, since they don't have Xeno this year, or right now. So I think the mid gap there's like no mid difference. So our jungler's better, and I think everywhere else is better. So I don't think it should be too hard.
Are you concerned that Moonlight might just be playing Gragas and Olaf support from now on, though?
I mean, I don't think we'd lose, to be honest. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think that I'm going to try some Olaf support now when I get home.
I have one final question for you here before I let you go. When it comes to this matchup that you'll be rematching against University of Michigan, do you think they're going to change drastically in the next few weeks? And what do you think they're going to do that's going to be different that might allow them to take a game off you guys?
I think they have to work on like their jungle pool, because he's played Zach like every game, and you can see how we like stomped him early game, and when Zach gets behind early game, he can't really do anything, and we just get our jungle so far ahead.
How'd you guys set up? Sorry, I lied. I said final question. How'd you guys set up Moonlight to do that? Because I know he's a support player. Is jungle his secondary, or was he being guided?
Yeah, jungle is his secondary role, and then we had good vision level 1, so we got raptor wards every game, and so since we didn't see him take his raptors, we knew he did red to Krugs, I think based, and then we saw him on the blue buff. We like pushed up and got a ward there, so we knew where he was pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, tracking the jungler, definitely a big part of that victory. And congratulations again for the win, Nightshade, still continuing that undefeated streak. And also thank you for taking the time to chat with us after that victory.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, hope you have a great rest of your day. And we're going to send over to break as we get ready to see the Western games take front. And thank you to Grubhub as well. Make sure you go on, download the app, and get $15 off your first purchase, as well as vote on social media what kind of food we get to eat during the Cast and Chat Chowdown. You're not going to want to miss it. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Week 3 of the 2019 BTN Preseason Invitational. To catch you up to speed, we just saw Michigan State University take down rival University of Michigan in 2-0 fashion to cement themselves as the dominating kings of the Eastern Conference. Two quick games. First one was going both ways. It felt like University of Michigan had some control in the early game, but Michigan State, the better team on the day, really running away with that one. I am Steve, Sir Buttkick Kangas, and I will be your host and play-by-play caster for the day. And I am, of course, joined by Aiden Zyrene Moon and Steven Returned Johnson. We got Steve squared. You got Steve sandwiched right now, Zyrene. How does that make you feel?
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Fantastic.
Absolutely the perfect spot that we want to be for beginning of a broadcast. But we got Illinois going up against Northwestern in the Western Conference ahead of us today. Illinois heavy favorites in the West right now, so Northwestern definitely got a heavy climb ahead of them. Also ripped their dreams of making it to playoffs as of right now, sitting at 1-4. The playoff dream is done, but they still can pick up a victory over Illinois, which would feel great as they're looking to get into the collegiate season.
Well, also, I think if they end up beating Illinois, there's potential for a three-way tie, I believe, up there.
Ooh.
So it gets a little bit strange. So
depending on how Purdue and Minnesota shake out,
yeah,
Right.
I know Minnesota. It would hamstring Illinois enough that Minnesota would catch them, and I think it's not completely locked just yet.
All right, well, we'll see what happens there. But, I mean, definitely in the Western Conference here, taking a look at everything, it seems like we have a big divide between the top teams and the bottom teams. Illinois undefeated still, Minnesota, Purdue right on the trail, and then a big drop-off as we see this large clump at the bottom.
Yeah, and I think you can really start leveling that out into like 3 different tiers of competition. I think that, the grouping Wisconsin, Iowa, Northwestern, and Nebraska are all playing that catch-up game. Minnesota, Purdue, I think that's going to be a really interesting matchup, see who eventually takes that one or who takes the last spot going into the playoffs. But Illinois, I still think they're just about a mile in front of the rest. You see them with their Collegiate League Legends experience, with their experience doing well in the Big Ten and the BTN networks specifically. And yeah, I don't really see anyone catching them anytime soon.
Well, the thing for me is I watched those games yesterday, and I'm still not convinced because Minnesota looked really good in the early game. They were 7,000 gold ahead, and the only reason they lost the first game is because a Baron was actually completely sneaked underneath their nose. And I'm like, how did that even happen? Like, nobody died. They went to the Ocean Drake, and the other team, Illinois, just went straight to the Baron, killed it. And I'm like, okay, that's a big mistake. Game 2, they lose the first Baron, and then they lose the second Baron off a steal, even though Minnesota had complete control of the game. They allowed it to fall from their hands twice. So I think moving forward, I'm really optimistic for a team that has control of games and gives it away, as opposed to a team that has to wrestle control away from their opponents. So for me, I still think it's a little closer between Illinois and Minnesota, at least from what I saw.
So in your opinion, Zyrene, is this a weaker Illinois from past years, or is this a stronger Minnesota? Because
it's definitely a stronger Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely a stronger Minnesota. But to that point, it might be a weaker Illinois than last year. But at the same time, it is possible that all of the competition has leveled up. So I guess I want to say it's definitely a stronger Minnesota. And they won't look as strong, but I don't know yet if they are weaker on Illinois' side. It may just be that, strength is always relative. So compared to their former selves, I don't know.
Well, we saw their matchup. Illinois did take that, but now Illinois is facing down Northwestern, the bottom team in the standings. So this is one of the last times that we'll get to see Illinois before heading into the playoff bracket, as they've already locked in their spots, still undefeated, looking to continue that on. And, I mean, the last time these two teams faced off, it was a quick 2-0 for Illinois.
Yeah, and I think that we're realistically looking at a similar expectation here, not only looking at the standings, Illinois still being undefeated, Northwestern still being very much defeated during some games.
They got one match
good
win.
performances, but
yeah.
I think when you look at just the depth of experience Illinois has in this roster, of course, Command Attack subbing in, or not subbing in, but replacing rather Zeno, so that's on the roster. You have so many carry points. The top of Potamus, I think, has got to be number 1 for me.
Yeah, and something that you just said, Sir Buttkick, I actually don't know if Illinois are 100% locked yet.
4-0 would lock them in for right now for a top 2, or maybe you're right. If
6 games.
If Purdue and Minnesota are able to clutch it out, I might have spoken too soon.
Yeah.
Well, I believe Illinois actually holds the head-to-head over both of them.
They're playing today, so they don't hold
I
the
don't know what I'm talking
Sorry, this is Northwestern. Sorry.
You're right.
Illinois holds the head-to-head to them. If they actually do hold that, then that actually makes it more interesting if they have to play each other. Okay, so you might
We'll have to check the stats team.
We got numbers in the background.
We'll get some others to check that.
We'll put the interns on it.
Yeah, I want to highlight a specific player, though, from Illinois in particular. We mentioned him already, Command Attack coming in, replacing Zeno. It was one of the linchpins in that victory last spring. So what are we thinking about Command Attack's replacement? Is this an upgrade, downgrade, side grade? What are we feeling?
I mean, he's a psychology major, so he's my homeboy right now. Like, he's got to just get in his opponent's heads. He's got to just condition them to think he's weak, and that's when you strike. That's when you get him.
Yeah, I think that Illinois has to be looking at this as an upgrade. I mean, Zeno, of course, moving on out of the school does leave that spot open. But the fact that Command Attack is a senior and stepping in on the roster this year means that he doesn't really have that much room to grow with the roster. I mean, you have this run, and then, of course, some people go for their graduate degrees, studies, and whatnot. Command Attack is one of those players who has a lot of experience in the semi-pro scene. But if he is who you're going to be going with this year instead of potentially like a younger guy, maybe a little bit lower on the talent level, then they're saying this is who's going to be able to bring us to that national championships or at least to the bracket once again. So I think they have a lot of faith in Command Attack, even if it hasn't quite gelled together just yet.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a psychology degree, you can't do much with it unless it's a master's. Like,
fair.
If you have,
He's got more school ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you have a bachelor's, it's like you can pretty much do some light counseling, hosting Alcoholics Anonymous and stuff like that. But if you want to be like marriage family therapy or anything like that, you do have to go for a master's or PhD.
All right, well, hopefully Command Attack got that memo. We'll see. But let's take a look at Northwestern University. Their opponents in today's match, again, sitting at the bottom of the standings right now, knocked out of playoff contention, but still looking to make the most of this preseason.
Certainly so, and it is a roster that's very much kind of still gelling together for this year. As we've mentioned before, a lot of the BTN teams are pretty new together. I mean, with a lot of ranked upgrades across the board, but it is going to be really on towards this mid lane, especially when you look at potentially the weakness of Illinois right now. It has been some hit-miss performances from the likes of Command Attacks. That means that our mid laner, Kwanje, I believe actually we aren't quite sure what the starting roster is going to be. They got a few subs floating on about from Northwestern side, but it is going to be a lot on the middle portion of this matchup to break open Illinois and potentially get those early game advantages against them that we have seen before.
But I like to see that in the preseason, especially when you're not in the playoff contention anymore. Change things up with the roster, try different players in different positions, because this is when you can make those types of decisions and experiment. See what works, see what doesn't work. It's the preseason. There's nothing on the line here in terms of collegiate placing. It's just the practice to get you in that mindset to win. And so if Northwestern's able to make the most of this time with these substitutions coming in, I think that's a good use of those substitutions.
And I completely agree. You always just want to kind of flex people around, see what works, because, like you said, preseason tournament, not in pretty much in playoff contentions at all. You can play upset, though, and a good way to upset is to throw random things at people. It doesn't always work in League of Legends if people are just completely outskilled, but it is an element that cannot be, I guess, understated. You have to at least go, okay, you know what? It's something that is relevant in these games.
Yeah, and it's when the enemy team is trying out new things as well. So Northwestern, they could throw a couple wrenches in the plans of Illinois here potentially today, but we did have an opportunity to sit down with the new mid laner, Command Attack from Illinois, to get his thoughts on the match. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Thomas, Command Attack Bjorklund, you got a big match ahead of you against Northwestern. What are your thoughts initially going into this match?
Well, for most of the collegiate matches, I just kind of look at them and I'm like, I don't really know any of the players, so it should be pretty easy as long as I play well and my team plays well with me. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, of course, because it's a match, but I'm not expecting them to be anything too scary compared to what I've played against in the past.
Okay, sure. Well, you mentioned the teamwork already, so I'm curious, a lot of expectations and hype around Illinois every year in collegiate. So what does it feel like for you to come in new to a team like that with high expectations around it?
Having played on high amateur teams and even a bit of, I guess, technically pro, like as long as I'm able to work with the team, then I can slot myself in pretty well and kind of figure out what the team needs and play as a role-playing role. So it's not been too much of a stressor for me because I've already played at a high level. So.
Okay, playing in those high-pressure situations always helps out with subsequent situations that arise. So I'm curious what your thoughts are, newer to the collegiate scene here in BTN. Who are the top mid laners that you're looking at, either on the East Conference or on the West Conference, that you're excited to potentially match up against?
Honestly, I don't know a single player to play against because none of them are in the solo queue games. They're just not high enough ranked. I guess the only one that I even know of completely is Holy KRP, but I've only seen him like once.
There we go. He's definitely one of the bigger names here. Well, I'll give you one of the mid laners you're up against, a Kavira on Northwestern. Even if you're not aware of this player's champion pool or play style, what are some words that you have for him going into this match?
Lane Kingdom, good luck.
Ooh, all right. Well, I'm going to hold you to that now because as soon as he wins that lane, I'm going to say, what was it? Where's all that smack talk from before command attack? Come on. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, and best of luck in the match to come.
Thank you.
We got to get some better rivalries going on in the Western Conference. Command attack, you got to learn the players. You got to learn your competition, because these are the mid laners that we're going to be seeing going into the playoffs as well. So we'll see how this match shakes up for Illinois. Command attack slotting in, new to the team. This is a big test for him to see how well can they keep this momentum going forward as they look towards playoffs.
Yeah, it's a little bit insulting. I mean, he doesn't even know his fellow Hoosier mid laner in the Illinois rivalry from Northwestern. So I think it's going to definitely be on the Northwestern squad to make themselves known just a little bit more.
Well, yep. I mean, it's definitely on them because they aren't doing the research on the side of Illinois. They're just, it's always funny because when their teams are just so good that a lot of times they feel like it's not worth it to play some of the other teams or even understand more about them. They're just like, we're just going to play our game. Mm-hmm. I think that's Illinois' mindset is they're like, we're just going to play our game. And if anybody makes us worry about them, that's when we'll worry about them.
Well, we'll see if Illinois has anything to worry about going into this match. But before we get into the match, another thank you to our partners in AnyKey. If you have not yet, make sure that you go and take the GLHF pledge to help fight online toxicity. And now let's hear from a couple others that have taken the pledge.
Hi, my name is D1 Ala Mangret.
Hi, my name is Sue Lee. My handle is Smix.
My name is Jordan Gilbert, aka Nothing.
My name is Bill Carter. My handle is Jump.
My name is Christopher Michaels, better known as Monte Cristo.
Hey guys, I'm Michelle Morrow, and I'm on-camera talent for both esports and the world of entertainment.
I think it's important that people are made aware that their behavior is not acceptable if you're going to throw out bigoted terms or target somebody for that kind of harassment.
So dealing with toxicity, even just on a normal day-to-day basis, when I game, I just like to be sort of an anonymous gamer, and to this day, I am scared to use my mic.
I think that anytime you can sit someone down that has a negative mindset or has a sense of toxicity, think about who you're affecting.
If I had the ability to confront a troll face to face, they would not be the keyboard warrior that they are inside of the game.
The GLHF pledge is super important. Anything that's encouraging people to promote positivity, to promote understanding, to promote sympathy.
It's cool to see that people are going above and beyond to be a voice for those from a community that may not be as well represented in gaming. You do matter.
GLHF.
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 Good luck. Have fun.
Good luck. Have fun. Thank you, AnyKey, for helping partner with us for the BTN 2019 Preseason Invitational. And now we're ready to get into the match. The pick and ban is something interesting to focus on. I just want to take a zoom out and think about the meta that we have seen develop here in the BTN. Big picks like Gragas, like Jarvan. It seems like heavy focus on engaging junglers that can make action happen early on in the game.
Yeah, this is when you hit that level of kind of coordinated play where if you play something that's weak in the jungle early, you'll get punished if the team is good enough, especially those upper echelon teams. So you really do have to focus on junglers that you might not always feel like you're having the most fun in the game. Like you're playing something like Kha'Zix in solo queue, you're having fun, you're popping off. You're not going to be the carry in a lot of these games. You're going to be the person who enables people to carry. And I think that's really what you should gravitate towards as a jungler.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of also the priority in this tournament so far has been towards those mid-jungle duo synergies, or even the mid-support, the jungle support duo synergies. So like the J4 plus the Galio has still been popping up here and there, and then of course the classic Gragas Yasuo. Get the quick knock-up. So then it go-to. That's kind of that level of execution, like you mentioned, where these teams were at this level.
Important to note here as well for Northwestern is if things weren't already rough for them going up against the first seed Illinois, they did lose a ban as well for not fielding the full roster on time today. So we'll have to keep note of that. That's why you see one blank one up there. But banning out the Senna, they don't want to leave that new champion up for Illinois to try out, but Illinois, it's all focus on these high-priority mid laners. Katarina's a little interesting to me, but the Renekton and the Kiana, that makes a certain level of sense, but now we got to see what they choose to prioritize first, and it is going to be the Rise.
Yeah, Topopotamus has already looked like a monster, not only in this tournament, but just in general on the Rise top lane. It's probably one of the most, free-form top laners you can grab. It works in nearly any matchup. You're always going to go ahead and scale. Questions to whether you win early or not certainly are there, but I think in the hands of Topopotamus, you feel pretty confident.
Yeah. You still have the ability to flex it around too, so we'll see if Topopotamus wants to hold that and give it over to Command Attack, take something else in the top lane. But still options for Northwestern. They lock in the Xayah, which leaves open the Lover's Duo opportunity, but they still get that Jarvan. We've been talking about how strong this is and how highly teams are prioritizing it so far in the tournament.
Yeah, very, very strong for the Engage, and that's what you were talking about, is a lot of teams are just favoring Engage in terms of the meta.
Right, and I mean, with the Xayah Rakan already and with the J4, they're definitely thinking, okay, the way we beat Illinois is on our terms. We're not going to let Illinois kind of macro us to death. We're not going to let them just scale up for the late game. We're going to try to win this game probably realistically around that 30 to 35 minute time frame when you're able to force those kind of fights. Question's going to be, do Illinois answer back with aggression of their own, kind of try to take control of the map priority to say, okay, yeah, your engages don't matter, we take the rest of the map? Or do they just say, we don't think you have any ability to engage on us, we don't trust that, and we're just going to go, 3 scaling lanes, late game, win, lose lane, win game kind of mentality?
We'll see what they end up doing. They have a choice here. They can lock in the Kai'Sa with the Nautilus. They opt not to. The jungle pool was already slightly pinched. J4 and Olaf taken off, so they say we want to get a jungler that can make an impact early before Northwestern has an opportunity to ban them. And prioritizing that over that Kai'Sa Nautilus combination, definitely interesting to note.
Yeah, and here I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do next. You can go for Orianna for J4 Orianna. Make sure they don't ban anything else out of that mid pool and that you have something that's good into the Rise. Or you can go for the Rakan, but they're not going to do either of those things. They're going to go for the Morgana here and look for something that shuts down the Nautilus's ultimate. We haven't seen a lot of Morgana get through when people are picking Nautilus.
Well, I mean, when you're also talking about ways to shut down the Nautilus ultimate, you do have Xayah, who has the ultimate ability. So this is a Morgana, not just for the defense of the ADC, but I think more so towards Freak Wave, making sure that he can survive as well. Because when you have Xayah on one side, like the Rakan, if you pick that, doesn't quite have that same ability to go ahead and pop up, but yeah, like we mentioned, it does somewhat concede control, at least in the engage aspect of the lane, over Illinois. Does give you the range, though, of just the pool, get that shoving ability. So, they're limiting options a little bit, but I think still keeping, potential for winning that lane just through shove open.
And we also, I'm happy you brought up the shove point because we just saw that happen in the last match in Michigan State versus Michigan. The team that had the ability to shove out that bot lane had so much control around the bottom scuttle, the bottom Drake, the ability to invade. So the Xayah and the Morgana have fantastic wave clear early on. I think that's something that we'll want to note is who's got priority of that bot side.
Yeah, and speaking of priority, Northwestern, that's exactly the game they're playing. You have the Caitlyn ban already. It's something that can control the wave pretty far. And you're almost thinking that if you go ahead and pick Kai'Sa here from Illinois, you just have so short range that Northwestern almost wins that by default.
I'd ban it, yeah. And that's exactly what they're going to do here. I'm like, if you're going to ban that, take the Xayah, you might as well ban the Kai'Sa on top of it. Kai'Sa Nautilus is just a disgusting combo in the first place,
So I'm wondering what would come up next for Illinois. I'm throwing it out there. I would love to see something like a Draven come through for this squad. Again, this is preseason. This is the ability to try things out, and Draven has been popping up sometimes as an answer to things like the Xayah. If you're able to really shut down that lane, and a Nautilus is a support that I think enables that fairly well, maybe they have an opportunity. We'll see if they like it into the Morgana, but I would love to see something aggressive here, at least from Illinois' side, as Mundo locked in for Northwestern.
It's funny because you say Draven, and what I hear in my head for like high elo AD carry players is Vayne. Like, because a lot of people will play Draven if they feel like they just outclass their opponent drastically, but they'll also play Vayne if they feel like they have to outplay skill shots simultaneously. And well, he's going to go with more of outplaying skill shots here and just more escape. So it's a scaling game here. I thought he's going to try to flex on him, but he wants that range. You were talking about if they play something with short range like the Kai'Sa, then nope, not going to be a factor here. He's going to go for the scaling Tristana.
I mean, yeah, it could also still be a mid laner too. Immediately when you see the Mundo, you think, okay, let's levy on as many physical damage lanes as possible.
You're probably actually right there. They're probably waiting on their marksman pick.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
There it is.
I don't know why, for some reason, I was just like, oh yeah, Rise is going mid 100%. Like, yeah.
No, dude, it's Papapotamus. He would. I have a strong feeling that he would physically fight Chivas, their coach. Like, I want this. I want this Rise.
Whoa.
Give it to me right now, no matter what the matchup is. But I think definitely, yeah, when you have, you know, it's kind of a similar situation we saw last time with the Mundo pick. You have an AP threat top lane, but you try to prevent them from building against that in the early game by getting double marksman, and then all of a sudden Mundo's like, okay, what do I build? And I think, you know, I'm almost going to potentially fill in for Cyrene a bit here, saying that there may be the need to buy a few Grievous Wounds items.
Really?
On the side of Illinois.
Just a couple.
Maybe.
Probably just a couple. I'm not saying that that's going to be a Tristana mid for sure. They could switch that one to the top, even in game if they want to go for a lane swap, because in my opinion, the Tristana into Mundo, very, very advantageous. Although, then you do have the Xerath in the mid lane. So a lot of wave clear coming in from Northwestern's mid lane side. I'm curious what that's going to mean for the draft, but I mean, given the dominance that Illinois has shown so far, 4-0, still undefeated, and Northwestern struggling in the second half here, I got to give it to Illinois. The draft looks strong. We just saw a similar draft take down a Mundo, or do well and do a Mundo composition in the early game. If they build the Grievous Wounds, maybe they can pull this one off. So I got to give that one to Illinois.
Even though I cry when I see a Xerath with a Morgana because the binding plus the stun plus the black shield, even if you reach him, I hate playing against that. I still feel like Illinois have this. They have things like the Nautilus that can help them engage and the Ash Arrow, but it's just going to be on the Morgana to play perfectly on the side of Northwestern.
Yeah, I think that Illinois is the stronger squad coming in here. The players definitely, I think, are a bit of high caliber. And then the compositional strengths, I think they play very well to Illinois' side. It tries to let them control this game, whether it's top lane, whether it's bot lane with the engagements across the map. I think that they definitely come in favorites here.
All right, 3 for Illinois. We'll see if Northwestern can prove us wrong or if Illinois will take the game. Interesting composition for sure, but we're going to load into the Rift and get ready for game number 1, brought to you by Grubhub.
30 seconds.
Already we're seeing an early game plan from University of Illinois. They're setting up as 3. Ooh, even get the ward cleared out. Setting up 3-man on the bottom side. This is the kind of control you want to see in the early game. Just dropping these early wards so that they can track the jungle clear of Songmeister.
And the fact that they have this Rek'Sai too makes it... Oh, wait a second. What the... Why does he have lethal tempo on Jarvan?
That is an interesting question. I can't answer that one, Cyrene. I think that's your job. I think I'm supposed to be asking you that question, and then you walk me through it.
Everybody on
Is that where the issue's coming up here?
Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, everybody on Illinois, it all makes sense there. On the side of Northwestern, the lethal tempo Jarvan, he's going to be smacking people real fast, I guess, but...
Maybe he's that far ahead of the meta. You never know.
Maybe, but...
Theory crafting in the preseason. It is the time to do it if you ever are going to, but we do see the substitute mid laner. You will fail. 1-1-1. Wow, that's an aggressive summoner.
Yeah.
We'll see if you can live up to it.
You will fail 111.
That's a lot. That's a lot of failing.
The number of times you will fail.
That's it's more than 100. More than 100%. Maybe it's not a percentage.
What was that? What was that?
Misses the skill shot. Yeah, and attack just jumps in. Ooh, these auto
He didn't
attacks.
miss the skill shot. He was just like, I don't need this.
It's wave control, you know? He's like, I don't want to push too hard.
Oh, man.
Wow. Illinois already winning out in 2 lanes. That's an early ignite drop to buy a Bosch, but they get the flash out of Secret Taco.
And you will fail. He's going to have his work cut out for him here, a little bit outmatched, but also Songmeister, he's going to have to affect these lanes at some point. He's going for early level 2. He's going to have to get in there.
Wants to punish Command Attack, who jumps in very early. Oh, can he hit it?
No!
He flashes and misses.
Why?
Now with no flash available. Oh, first blood picked up by Shocks.
The fact that you flash doesn't mean that the skill shot's going to go any faster and be more dodgeable. Or less dodgeable.
You know what? It was a decision made. I respect the decision. Didn't work out for him, as the first blood does go over to the jungler, and now also gets pushed out in the mid lane. Songmeister is able to pick up some of that XP and CS, but look at Shocks. Still wants to keep pressure going on the bot side. Level 2 has not been hit yet.
There it is.
Secret Taco, they're going in for flash forward with the auto root, and Secret Taco is out of there. Shocks gets 2 kills in 3 minutes.
Oh, honestly, I would probably walk up and go dive her because she's not even level 2. Push her away. Don't let her get level 2. She doesn't have binding, so it's easy.
this early game, you can tell Illinois came in prepared. They had one plan in mind, and it was shut Northwestern down immediately. Songmeister again comes to a lane to help catch some XP and CS. So hey, at least the J4 will have a little extra XP potentially over Shocks, but those 2 kills will feel so much better for this Rek'Sai. Already completed a back and has double long swords, so really looking to fight.
Yeah, actually ridiculously, because it's not even just double long sword. He's gonna jump on him.
Oh, command attack with the solo kill. Barrier and flash already used by you will fail earlier on, and I think that once you failed that 1v1 as the Zera, this lane's pretty much over.
Pretty much over, 100%. And now what's going to happen is bot side. Rek'Sai will take this Krug, or I guess the crab, and then go and try to maybe gank again. I feel like it's just an easy kind of revisit here. The flash on Xayah is down.
There's no ward.
They haven't warded it.
Oh, no.
He's going to sweep and make sure.
Yep.
And
Tristana's even coming down as well.
All right. If this is a good Morgana player, they will hold the binding. If this is a bad Morgana player, they will throw the binding as soon as they see something.
Bosch with the Hex Flash. They're trying to get onto Secret Taco. There's a Black Shield. Freak Wave, though, will go down. Command Attack over the wall. The heal comes through for Secret Taco. Flash forward by Command Attack. He will fall to the turret, but they still claim 2. So 2 for 1 for Illinois.
This is Operation Deny the Xayah. He has 11 CS, man. He just got back to lane. He went from 4 to 11.
Ooh, that's not what you want to see.
He's almost at 2 CS per minute, man.
That feels real bad. 2 deaths. That 1 kill will help out, but you gotta think that the mental game. We talked about having a psychology major here. Command attack. Do you think this is command attack? Is he saying, okay, we're gonna destroy?
This is my favorite.
Mental.
This is my favorite. Watch Rek'Sai.
Oh no.
Go.
Oh no.
Go get him.
He's looking for it. Oh, good ward for Freak Wave. They're pushed off of the turret. No flash on either member, so there's just more turret plates. Look at command attack also roaming down.
Yeah.
Doesn't complete the full roam, but this is absolute control by Illinois.
Yep. Oh, man. I love that from Rek'Sai, where you just sit there and you watch the bottom lane. You can watch them come back, and you just try to deny them as hard as possible. He's going to go for the dragon now. Command attack is going to roam down, and they're just going to protect this and also throw hawk shots to make sure that they get a clear vision of the jungle. That's going to show raptors, and it's going to show the Krugs and show that Krugs aren't done. So he's probably going to go to the bottom side is what you can assume. You don't see him there.
Such a good early play here from Illinois. They respect that top eponymous on the rise. Yeah, the Mundo might be a counter because you can build tanky, but there's no way you're going to win that 1v1. Even if Songmaster comes up, there's a low chance.
They're going to dive bottom again.
They're going to dive bottom. It looks like it. If our observers could let us know what's going on. Actually, the 1v1 top eponymous is taking down Erito. Oh, the 1v1 comes through for the rise. Good catch, observers trusting that 1v1 was coming through. Top eponymous just running away with it.
The observers cheat. I know that. I've been back there. They know what's going to happen. But, man, I wish they would dive the bottom lane.
Now they're just rubbing it in our face.
Yeah.
They're like, we're okay. This is the top eponymous POV.
Oh, okay. You know what?
Can we get his abilities up and his cooldowns? And
wait.
Wait, this isn't top eponymous. This is Shocks. Taking away the red buff from Songmeister. Does smite it away.
Him up. Yeah.
Actually losing the 1v1, though. Songmeister flashes
forward.
Takes the blast cone over, but top eponymous is there as backup. Xerath ultimate comes out. Shocks. One more will take him down. He's able to dodge around. 2 shots miss. Will the third hit? They try to redirect the third shot in onto the top laner. Top eponymous still alive as they get a kill onto Xerath. The mid lane, you will fail going down. Erito just can't do it. The shutdown does come through. Oh. He gets Shocks and fights away top eponymous too. Erito just putting the team on his back.
I think he died during the E animation for the Ferocious Bite, so I think he would have killed the Mundo if they wasn't just instantly just popped right then. I think he would have gotten that cast off. I don't think the true damage went through. So, feels bad, man. Some of those kind of cast times on Rek'Sai, the R and the E, really mess you up sometimes. So this was really well played where he doesn't have the knockup. He's going to try to avoid this, and I'm surprised that the Xerath is not popping those out because there aren't that many directions he can run, or the Rek'Sai can run. He dies there, and then he goes out as Rek'Sai goes in. Yeah. Oh, man. I'd have to double-check that again because that looked like maybe he actually got it off, and it just wasn't enough. But I'm surprised that would be so little damage with two with 2 long swords. I expect more damage out of the ferocious fight.
Bot side, more action going on. Freak Wave's already down. Secret Taco falls as well as Kuderik picks up the 2nd kill for himself. This bot turret might just die.
I think they're speed running this right now. Welcome to BTN Done Quick.
BTN Done Quick is an apt name for how this game is going so far. A 5,000 gold lead at 8.5 minutes in, and this is just showing why Illinois is a team to be feared, why they are still undefeated right now in the Western Conference, and they were able to come back from Minnesota in that grueling series. Teams need to respect
Watch this,
what
the Rex
Illinois
size
is able
going
to
in.
do. Oh, he's so deep into enemy territory. Going on to Freak Wave, does so much damage. It takes them out. A Secret Taco trying to get the root under turret. Does pull it off and takes down Shock. So 1-for-1 trade, but Illinois still get the turret.
Sometimes you don't get the R off fast enough, and then, boom, you just get rooted. You can't cast it once you're rooted, and he dies. But at least
for it.
I respect the hustle.
No, I can't go for that one. No teleport to back you up in a 1v2 situation. So end of the day, Illinois is still in the lead. Secret Taco's gotten 2 kills, though, because of over-aggressive plays from Illinois. Kudos to the Xayah capitalizing on that.
That's true. He's also gotten 29 CS at 9.5 minutes.
Happy you brought that up, too.
Perfect capitalization.
Well, while this action is happening here between Illinois and Northwestern, we do want to send it over to Returd for an update on what's happening elsewhere in the tournament.
Thanks, guys. We're going to head over to the Eastern Division, where we have the conclusion, finally, the Battle of the Sennas, The Ohio State University versus Maryland. As you can see right here, an early pick means nothing for the Ohio State University, as Maryland is easily able to clean up not only this fight, but take the 2-0 in the series to solidify a spot towards the top of that Western Conference. Going to help them a little bit in that late season push for the playoffs. And Ohio State, unfortunately, still yet to find a series win. And as you can see, the plays going on over. That's going to be it for over here. Back to you guys on the desk.
Quick 2-0 over there. We've had a lot of 2-0s today, I gotta say, as now an engage here onto You Will Fail. Oh, they actually get the stun. Chaining the CC.
Oh.
Command attack has to flash away, but now the Xerath ult, can it come through? Can it get the snipes? One more should take him down. Doesn't land it. Oh, but there we go.
Put a flag in her.
On the flank, will take him down. Can they take out the Bosch? He will have his dredge line up. Can he get it onto the turret to get away? Oh, one more auto. You Will Fail gets the kill.
Wow, man. The Tristana looks like he's about to get away, and then he just comes out. He's like, no, I claim this Tristana in the name of Songmeister, and plants a flag right in him. Oh, man.
In the name of Song. Can you claim it in the name of yourself? Is that usually
absolutely.
how it goes?
I mean, I think America's done that many times.
Fair enough, Zyrene. But while action's happening mid-side, Illinois, their attention's on these objectives. They're taking their 2nd turret, getting all the turret plates for both bot and topside, and we get a replay of how they got it.
Yep. Gonna knock him up, the Hail of Blades, stacking up the E real quick. And then he's just gonna get that kill real fast.
And we talked, okay. You Will Fail going down a 4th time in this game, and Songmeister nowhere to run this time around. 2 quick picks for Illinois, and they will claim another dragon for themselves. This is 2 for the day. Their roaming is going to be insane.
Yeah, and I actually think the Rek'Sai, I main this champion, so when you're this far ahead this early, even if you've gone 5-5, right, you still have more gold than people who you haven't been interacting with. So you show up against the Xayah or somebody that doesn't have the kills.
I think he's been interacting with the Xayah fairly.
I'm just saying, for example, let's just say it's a whole idea of let's just say a support gets a kill, right?
Yeah.
A support gets a kill versus a Vladimir gets a kill. Which one's worth more, right? The Vladimir. But early game kills on Rek'Sai I think are worth more than pretty much almost any other champion that is in that same position, because what you can do to people who you weren't trading kills with. Let's just say I go 1-1 against an Olaf, right? Or 2-2, or we kill each other 3 times. We both have 3 kills, 3 deaths. I can assassinate the backline very easily and kill 2 people with the damage output that I have, as long as they haven't gotten ahead of the curve. And now he's way ahead of the curve with the Phage and having the completed jungle item here. So that's so much AD on top of all of her bonus damage ratios. So she does so much damage here that I actually think she one-cycles the Xayah.
Especially the Xerath as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 2 squishy options. Even the Morgana, doesn't matter if that black shield comes through to block the CC, the AD damage will still land from Shox right now. So Happy you highlighted that. Multiple members of Northwestern have got to be careful, but I mean, at this point, with an 8,000 gold lead at 13 minutes in, they've already taken every single turret plate, all the outer turrets. Illinois are just showing why they are the best team in this conference.
Yep, they're 10,000 gold up, or about to be. They're 9,000 gold up here at 13 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Unprecedented, to say the least. Yes, Northwestern has a substitute coming in. They have a new mid laner.
Oh, Songmeister's going to go for it. They think this is their chance.
Yeah, they try and get the flash. They actually pull off the play. The CC lands, but there's just no damage to follow up. Kudarek still alive. Flash forward onto Uwolfil, trying to get that last bit of damage. The barrier comes through. Command attack is here. Do they go for the rocket jump? They do. Command attack doesn't get the kill yet, but will the bomb go down? Look at Erito actually pulling off the dive, but command attack between the turrets will take him out. Erito, the madman is popping off with the shutdown onto Shocks. Will take down Bosch. How did you do that? A triple kill to the Mundo.
Oh, man, he's so tanky. It's so hard to kill him. And they didn't really have anything left. They used it all in the main fight. And people still run around with pretty much like one item. You have to worry about this Mundo getting tanky. That's kind of the one way they win. Granted, this is not a Conqueror Mundo. This is a Fleet Footwork Mundo, which is built to, when you auto somebody, be able to chase them down a little bit better. Right here, a little confusing that the binding does not go onto the right side of that fight. It goes on the left, because I don't even think that Morgana thought that there was going to be a EQ flash. That was just going to be an EQ. Yeah, there's the shutdown. There's one shutdown.
Just flexing right now. He's like, hey, has anyone seen my beach ball? I think it was over here. Nope, it wasn't there. Maybe it's over this wall. Oh, found it. There we go.
Woo!
Wow. Erito 4-2-0. The final hope here for Northwestern, as they're still 8,000 gold behind. Hey, they brought it back by 1,000 after that play. But this Mundo, definitely something that Illinois needs to think about. Not somebody that the Rek'Sai can assassinate on the backline. Oh, there's the Ash Arrow coming through. Do they actually want to take this? Black Shield already used. That's a decent cooldown here if Illinois wants to go for the dive.
Mundo is not there. Mundo has teleport. Ash is in that mid lane still. That's one turret down. They're rotating between. They want to get that mid turret. Mundo maybe looking for the Ash. No, he's actually just going to push up. They're just getting those turrets, yeah.
Minutes into the game, and 5 turrets have been claimed by Illinois. 2 of them tier 2 turrets. It's just inhibitors left in 2 of the lanes. And Illinois are looking terrifying right now. Yeah, they had a slightly botched team fight there. Songmeister looking for more. Catches Kudarek away from the rest of the team. Doesn't matter if you have a gold lead. You can't get caught like that. Songmeister might go down here to the DPS in from Illinois, but who's going to take down Erito? Over the wall is the Xerath. You got to position carefully. There's the Rek'Sai onto the Xerath. Uwolfil goes down, but Erito still untouched. Well touched, but they just have no damage. He's so tanky.
You can't reach him.
Takes down the Nautilus. Can he get command attack? Freakwave's trying to do his best. Black Shields himself instead of the Mundo, and with the ultimate timed out, they finally claim their prize. Illinois win the fight.
Yeah, and they didn't even have Topotamus there. He's on the bottom side, still has teleport, still has the Realm Warp. He's just looking to get this turret and then keep pushing. Open inhibitor now is just going to wave clear. And yeah, there's double executioners here. Kind of learning from the earlier series in the day.
They might have been watching.
If they were watching, I don't know. Potentially. But regardless, I think that's how you do it. You saw how tanky the Mundo was there, even when they had executioners. In the other game, he was literally unkillable because they didn't have it. Here, they prevent a lot of the healing with having that, and that still makes it more of a, I would say, fair fight.
I just realized Kudarek actually sidestepped all 3 of the Xerath ults there. Impressive stuff, to say the least, but on the back end of the fight, they just couldn't deal with the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, Rek'Sai gets the kill there, eats the binding, and then right here, he wants to reach the Mundo. He's so close, eats another binding. He's just like, how do you have that much CDR, man? Come on.
And Freakwave not using the Black Shield on Erito, getting afraid of Shocks right there. I'm not sure if that would have been the difference maker.
Well, I think if he walked up to Black Shield the Mundo, he would have gotten knocked up there, because that's why he Black Shielded himself, is he thought Shocks was just going to knock him up there, and it was a bit of a wiggle there from Shocks, who looked like he was going to go onto the Morgana, and then he unburrowed, so I think he actually missed the knockup, and then he walked back towards the Mundo. It was a little bit of a strange little end of the fight there, but it did work out there for Illinois.
Illinois now with 7 turrets taken. After that fight, Topotamus was able to claim one on the bottom inhibitor. So Base is exposed here for Northwestern University. There's not a lot of territory left that they can fight around. And here's a potential pick onto the tankiest member of the Mundo, but other members of Northwestern are coming in. They got their front line, that got their damage from afar. But look at Command Attack on the bottom side. Erito goes down. You will fall in a 1v3. Command Attack doing such work down there. The tank front line is gone. None of the DPS was able to join the fight because of Command Attack. And now Illinois are diving under the inhibitor turret. Shox is deep in enemy territory. Gets a knockup, does so much damage. Will the burn be enough? It is! As You Will Fail goes down. Illinois, 18.5 minutes in, are pushing onto the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, they'll at least get double inhibitor here, get those super minions pushing. There's no Baron up, 1.5 minutes for that one. And so far, they are on course to end this game with a reset and a push.
Do not continue the push onto those Nexus turrets, but you're right, Zyrene. The 2 inhibitors is enough for them right now. 13K in the lead. Complete control over neutral objectives. Outside of kills, this will be a perfect game from Illinois if they can keep this up. Northwestern have not been able to fight back at all.
Yeah, it's basically, I'd say, a no-hitter in terms of the map state. Not able to get any of the objectives on it. Still getting kills because it does get a little bit dirty, but...
So what do you think about Songmeister's build here in this position?
I don't like it.
Going for the AD when you're trying to be that front line and your team is behind. So what should in your opinion as a jungle main, what does a J4 need to be looking to do at this point?
Survive as long as possible. You are just part of the front line here. So the way I see it is, Jarvan, you go electrocute if you want to go early game and just stomp somebody. But watch this. He's actually going to be really squishy. He's going to be dead in a few seconds. This is not the Mundo we saw earlier because there's Executioners calling.
Yeah, and you have that MR, barely any armor built right now. And this is the problem with the type of composition Illinois has. You got to build MR to deal with the Rise.
Yeah, he's still got Tabis, and he has Randuin's almost completed. He actually has sizable armor, in my opinion. But he's still just ripped through because a lot of his durability isn't from, there's nothing in his kit that makes him tanky. He actually hurts himself. It's just the ultimate.
And here's the end of the game coming in for Illinois. They can't even get on to the Ash. Northwestern losing members. They've lost their Nexus turrets. They just have to fight under Fountain, but Illinois won't give them the opportunity. They turn their sights on the Nexus before getting a few more kills to pad the stats. They might not be able to take it down. No, they do. As Bosch, the final auto, will claim the Nexus and win Illinois Game 1.
Super fast there, about 20-20 on the clock, and just like 2020, there's some good hindsight to have in this game where you say, all right, they got those Executioners, good, it made it so that there was no chance that Mundo takes over the game, even though they did flub it a little bit, but I feel like Northwestern, they showed and displayed that they were very uncomfortable from the get-go. Literally as the Xerath is in lane and misses Q off to the side, doesn't even hit a minion, doesn't even hit anything, I immediately went, okay, this is going to be a rough game. And you saw here that he's not landing any of those. He's just having them walk straight out of them. The Xerath not able to have almost any effect here, and that mid difference did come up huge where the pressure from Command Attack, the roaming, and the ability of him to roam around lanes when he was freed up to kill them with the Tristana made it so that the game was just accelerated to a point where they did end it in 20 minutes.
20-minute victory for Illinois. And it wasn't just the mid lane either. It was also that bot side. The back-to-back-to-back ganks, that tent that Rek'Sai set up down there was very impressive. Shox just understood exactly how to shut down Freakwave.
Oh, man. And I think that's always a beautiful thing to see. A lot of junglers feel like they have to gank every lane or kind of gank one and then make their rotation, go through their full jungle and be like, okay, I'll be back in a minute or 1:45. I got to cycle everything. A lot of junglers, it's just like the best way to play the game sometimes is to just chain kill the guy 2 to 3 times and put it on the enemy jungler to have to route up there in time or at the same time. Because a lot of the times, they will predict that you're going to reset, right? Junglers will think, oh, he wouldn't be here again, right? He wouldn't stay here the whole time. And that's really why it's almost like it's a bad play for you efficiency-wise if the play doesn't work, which makes it a good play because people don't expect you to do it.
Yeah, and he pulled it off. That's the most important part. But to send it over to Return, who will break down really what happened and how Illinois was able to just decimate one of those team fights.
Thank you very much, Sir Buttkick. And of course, it wasn't really a close game, but this does give us an opportunity to dive into the meta-breaking tactics of Northwestern University. And of course, what that does mean, we're looking at lethal tempo J4. As you guys saw here, it's about a 7-minute fight in that topside jungle. As you do let this one play through, you can see that J4 has got himself into a little bit of a kerfuffle with the Rek'Sai, immediately going at him once they get over the pit there. And right here, as you pause, you can see the absolute devastating weakness of the aggressive J4, and that is, as you can see here, the rest of the team. As they already have a Rise running on over to this fight, and true, the lethal tempo does give the J4 a little bit more damage in the initial skirmish, especially versus somebody who has the Hail of Blades, so it's only the first 3 hours empowered. One thing that, unfortunately, University of Illinois was very good about was just playing around everyone as the clip plays through. Doesn't matter how much attack speed you have, no amount of attack speed is going to be able to delete literally everyone else on the Rift, and that was the crippling weakness keeping Northwestern down in this series, or in this game number 1 at least. We'll have to see what they can do to fix the rest of the series as we throw it back over to the desk to run this one out.
The lethal tempo J4 was something we touched on briefly. We didn't follow it up again later on, but it was interesting to see that specific interaction. J4 was winning the trade to begin with, but I'm happy Return highlighted it was the rest of Illinois being willing to come and back up their jungler to make sure that the kill didn't go through.
Yeah, I was really confused by it because normally you take Conqueror if you're going to go tank, and you take Electrocute if you're going to go for early game focus, or they have squishies on their team. You can build AD behind it to kind of feed into that ratio a little bit. But as soon as he built Tiamat after he built the Cinder Hulk already, I was like, okay, this is really weird. So he's like fishing for AoE splash damage on his basic attacks that he's going to get more of. Very peculiar build too. I don't think it's really that great. I personally think Tiamat is too much of a gold sink. Once you have a Cinder Hulk, like Cinder Hulk has just been made to be better and better over time to actually AoE kind of farm camps, and he has 2 AoE abilities on his basic abilities. So I feel like the Tiamat is gratuitous, and I think it's a bit wasteful.
Well, I hope that he realizes that as well and can shore up some of those mistakes in the build for game number 2. As we send it over to break, we'll see if Illinois is able to take the series 2-0 or if Northwestern has anything left in the tank to fight back. We'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back, everybody, for the final potential game here in BTN Week 3 of the Preseason Invitational. Illinois leads the series 1-0 over Northwestern, and they did it with just an insane early game. Probably the most one-sided we've seen so far.
Yeah, it was definitely a big domination of the camp bottom lane. I feel like they're going to have to, open that as a summer camp at some point.
A summer camp on the bot lane.
Yeah.
Rek'Sai can give some lessons on how to tilt a player.
Yes, that's the summer program for League of Legends is camp lane.
Yeah, they could play maybe like volleyball. That's what kind of like the Rek'Sai does, right? Knocking people up. I'm trying to think of other analogies of summer
spelunking.
Camp. Clearly, I didn't have a good
spelunking.
You went spelunking?
Yeah, man. Like
standard camp.
I mean, that's what Rek'Sai does, right?
Oh, okay. There you go. That's an extreme summer camp. I feel like we had very different childhoods.
That was extreme game.
Extreme game. Yeah, Illinois absolutely dominated. So my question is, Northwestern is, what's left? What's left in the playbook after that type of game? They have a substitute mid laner coming in. They did lose a ban in that game 1, so is this next ban in game 2 going to be the decision maker for them?
I don't think so. Like, one ban is not going to change all of that. The mid laner looked like he was having some fun, too.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he missed that skill shot at the start, I was like,
he's gone.
I was like, what's going on? Like, is he here? Like, I don't even know if their substitute made it. Like, that's how I felt in that game.
Maybe on a different coast and has some ping issues,
Right.
Never quite sure.
Maybe.
The ping issues from Illinois, where the servers are currently located. A big issue.
That was the best change
Right.
for us in the Midwest when the servers went over there.
Everyone else hates
Rip
you.
LA. Yeah, I know. We are definitely in the minority in that regard. But Illinois demanding lead of this series. I mean, there were a few plays where Northwestern were pulling something out of their hat. Mostly
This wasn't
around
one of
Mundo. I mean, they got 1 kill for it, but then they lost 2. So yeah, rough decision making for sure.
Yeah, I think that certainly a lot of these lane matchups didn't play out how they wanted to. I mean, I guess Azereth was supposed to be the counter to Tristana. I mean, you have 2 options for dealing with Trist. You either outrange her or just out-safety her. That wasn't either, unfortunately, when it all played out. It was kind of getting jumped on.
Supposed to be outrange.
It's supposed to be outrange, and then there's just Tristana jump has got a few things to say about that one, but nothing really played to their plans, I guess. If they had just, taken their top laner, copied him about 5 times for Northwestern, maybe you have that way back into the game, but I think it was just so much wrong, so many deers caught in so many headlights that there really wasn't just much to play around.
It was a whole herd. It was a herd of deer.
It was the school of deer.
It was a school.
Not the right way to describe
Google
deer? The plural for deer.
Correct word for a large group
deer.
of deers together. But again, the Mundo was something that was working out for Northwestern.
It's a flock of deer.
Well, a flock of deer. Twitch chat
The
will let us
murder
know
of
what
deer.
A murder. Oh, that's the best one right there.
That works on multiple levels
It
at this
does,
point.
yeah. It definitely
like it.
felt like a murder happened in that last game. So, as Illinois, do you leave out the Mundo? Do you care that was doing all right in that top lane?
I'm okay with them playing it because I just get to farm.
True, fair enough.
At
And
least-
Top of Wonders also got the solo kill on him regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of bright spots for Northwestern going into game 2. We'll see if they have anything left up their sleeve. Maybe it's a Hail Mary play. Maybe it's to go for something crazy. We saw yesterday a few games played with just all melee melee champions, no AD carries, things like that. So, who knows? Maybe they'll have some fun with it. But they do also have another sub coming in here. Interesting to note, Nugget Masood for Erito. So the top laner, Mundo, no longer going to be on the Rift here. A different player coming in. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the switch up that they need. I mean, clearly that last game didn't work.
I think he was just too close to winning the lane. I think that was really the issue with Northwestern. I think the idea is if everyone's losing together, then you're doing it as a team. It's a team building
With our
exercise.
powers combined.
Exactly. That's how you really go deep with this one. But I mean, to be fair to Northwestern, I don't think anyone really expected them to come in. So getting the subs in, at least giving them some experience so that they can come back. Page 2 of the anime or episode 2, when you come back against the Overlords. Illinois and take the title from them in the regular season, that's realistically where we're headed here, ladies.
Man, I didn't know that one of the Grubhub options was roast. I guess that's what we're having here on the desk.
Hey, you know what? The victory feels so much better when you are defeated that hard in the first game. We still got a full series ahead of us, so I like where Return's at. Speak honestly, speak truly on what happened in that game 1, so that way it feels so much better when Northwestern just comes and claps back.
Yeah, but I feel like you're in the middle of the war, so softening the blow before you have to go right back into the trenches so that you aren't completely mentally destroyed is probably the tactic to go with.
Yeah. So you're currently comparing Northwestern's mental state after game 1 to trench warfare,
Yeah.
World War I. not where you want to be. But I'll trust your professional opinion here. We'll see what Command Attack has to say. Because again, Command Attack, that psychology major, definitely in a position where he can take advantage of that, really tilt his opponents, and really just twist that knife a little bit.
Or he'll be really good comfort after.
I like that.
He didn't even know their
More
names.
wholesome. He did not.
But hopefully he knows his names at afterwards of the names of the victims. But
I like how he comes in, says I don't know the names, and then he's playing as a substitute mid laner.
Obviously he doesn't know his name.
Yeah.
I don't even know if his teammates know his name. So.
What I'm actually looking for in this next game is I want at least something to have. I want Northwestern to have that one feels good play, because normally when you're so far down like this, it's really hard to get anything working together. I just want the 5-man onto Command Attack. Make him remember who we are.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Make a composition that does one thing really well, and then just double down on that. Get a roaming support, get a Shen top, like a Galio Shen with a Gragas jungle, Yasuo mid, something crazy, and just try and dogpile, make a bouncy house. Because, you got to throw a Hail Mary at this point if you're trying to take down Illinois.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, even if you take this series off of them, it doesn't move you much further up in the standings. So this is all for experience, which means that the sub coming in is I think a worthwhile thing to do, is to get people more experience, more rotations, more familiarity with each other, and we'll see what happens in this game.
Well, we're sending it over to draft right now as the teams are ready to go. This time Northwestern on the blue side, so they will get that priority first pick. But Illinois, after that game one, I still feel like they are a confident team in their draft preparation. They definitely had a plan in mind going into that game one.
Yeah, and especially with the move towards the blue side, I don't think it's going to throw Illinois off too much. I think they still would rather have the counter pick, kind of the level of player. I think they have a little more of a champion pool to pick from. But with the movement onto the blue side, I am interested to see whether the Rise makes it back over. I'm not sure if Northwestern are going to spend a ban there, in which case you either pick it away from Topopotamus, or he does kind of the same thing where he just hard wins the lane matchup afterwards. But, I don't know whether Rise is the first thing to worry about. Well, all right. JK, Illinois don't want to see it played, so Topopotamus, if I can't have it, nobody can.
I guess not. The Senna also banned. I'm disappointed in these Senna bans today. I wanted to see the new champion come out and shine, but I guess teams are not ready for it right now. But Northwestern, they grab the Gragas. Illinois answer with that Yasuo, so we won't see the Gragas-Yasuo combination.
Yeah, Illinois are just playing the hard to nail game. If they can't have nice things. If they've got Gragas, pick the Gragas away. Curious to see what matchup they go for in the jungle. You still got the J4. I think they're going to be looking for something with the knockup just to get that combo rolling. But
bust down bot, Kiana.
Oh.
Exactly.
That's what I want to see.
But look at the Morgana and Caitlyn combination from Northwestern. A very oppressive lane, especially into melee like the Nautilus. You have a lot of chain CC you can layer in, and that poke coming through. So I do actually like this combination from Northwestern, but it allows Illinois to build a composition that can punish that. We saw them willing to gank bot side repeatedly against Azaya, and Caitlyn's not that much safer of a champion. Also, Command Attack getting his signature Orianna. Named himself after that champion.
That was not the oh no.
Oh, okay. What was the oh no?
Steve, you should know the oh no.
Oh, the oh no. Oh, the Teemo ban.
Yeah, there we go.
Illinois, come on, just let them have fun. Let them have fun with it. Let me have fun.
It's not allowed here.
Yeah, I think they're saying no fun allowed. I believe it's the mid laner's a Katarina one trick, which explains the Xerath play. Sorry, man. But the Katarina ban, first thing that they're banning on the Illinois side, so they're just saying he doesn't get to have fun at all.
Said Northwestern locking in the ribbon here. Presumably going to that top side. They're holding their mid lane pick till the very end. Xerath's still on the table. It would not be a blind pick. They can pick anything they want into this Orianna. So how is the champion pool of Secret Taco right now? Or rather, you will fail.
Well, we'll see.
Note, Secret Taco moving from AD carry to the jungle. Songmeister top lane and Erito on the bottom side. If they stay in these positions, we'll see what happens there. But the Zed locked in regardless.
Yeah, keep in mind that also he also can flex to that bottom side of the map, which I'm almost expecting at this point into... Yeah, of course, it does exactly come through. You have the combination with the Nautilus, you are able to knock him up. Interesting pick of the Zed into the Orianna. Ori being one of the safer laners, I would expect, into that match. I mean, you go for pretty early on his Hourglass, plus you have shield, then you probably have another shield if you go for barrier. Should be safe on his signature champion, and now I am starting to wonder from Northwestern if none of these super skirmishy laners get ahead, where that power starts to come from, especially if we're losing a little bit of farm on the bot side again.
Yep. I, too, like to run full AD comps with just a Gragas as my AP source in the jungle. So It feels strange for Northwestern here. I feel like they really have to slaughter every lane. And if they have any of those fall behind, just the utility that's offered from something like an Orianna that will probably CS pretty decently, it's going to be so hard. The combination you were talking about at Sir Butt Kick, where you wanted to see some things from Northwestern that's like synergy. It just looks like everybody's Lone Ranger right now.
Yeah, and when you have to think of the way to come back against a team like Illinois, I feel like it is going to be trying to take advantage of when they overstep. We saw a few times when the AD carry was able to turn a play around onto the right side, diving a little bit too deep. I don't know if this is the team composition that's going to do that necessarily.
It's not. It's definitely not, especially when you fact that the hardest engage that they have available to them is the Gragas, which is a little bit unreliable, especially needing either a flash or just a perfect ultimate, or the Morgana, who once again, not the most consistent, reliable form of engage, while on the other side you have just a Kled charge, you have the Nautilus, you have so many ways of starting these fights that Northwestern, the only way they win this game is just hard smashing lanes.
Yeah.
I do have an update as we're getting ready to load into the game. There was actually a switch around there. It is Kled going into the mid lane and Orianna going into the top lane. So they want to take the Kled into the Zed matchup.
Yeah,
With that in mind, we need to factor in that into our decision making for the predictions. I'm not sure if it'll change much. I'm still going Illinois, taking this game for sure.
Illinois as well?
Yeah, Illinois.
Illinois? All right.
Yeah, Kled in the mid just means it's physically impossible to assassinate him with the Zed ultimate. So, and then Orianna range into the Riven seems perfectly fine.
Yeah, the Riven does have some options in there, but the Orianna can typically shut that matchup down, especially if the Riven is not aggressive enough.
Yeah, it's not a matchup we see often, but we can definitely predict that the range will take advantage. We'll see if Illinois is able to take this one in quick fashion just like before, or if Northwestern's got anything left to fight back against the beast that is Illinois. We're ready in game number 2. Another invade from Illinois. They've been ready every single time.
And the fact that they get that little bit of experience, too, off that ward is pretty massive. Sometimes it makes a big difference in mid lane. Sometimes you level up one creep earlier. Didn't see how many people actually got experience on it.
We see that the ward did go over to the bot laner playing the Yasuo. And you know what? When I said Northwestern...
they're really going to face check that.
They are. They're going straight into it. Drop the ward. They see it. You will fail there. When I talked about the adaptations in draft for game number 2, I was expecting Northwestern to pull out something crazy. Yes, the Zed is exciting, but I think Illinois outdid them when having the Orianna go top, Kled mid, and then the Yasuo Nautilus bot side. This is a composition that just exudes confidence in the ability to win this game.
Yeah, and there's some weird tech here, too. Like, I don't like the electrocute on Gragas. Once again, I feel like I'm going after somebody. I'm like, I'm sorry, bro. But
this time it's
typically
Nugma
Predator.
Suits, not Songmeister.
It's typically Predator.
Yeah, typically.
It's Nugma Suits this time in the jungle. And it's typically Predator there. But also, I think the good tech here is the Orianna.
Taking that Kleptomancy, you have the range advantage. You can just abuse that even more.
Make it a Riven Pinata.
Get those little grab bags, those little... It's like party favors. Is it party favors?
Yeah,
What's it called? Yeah.
Also
I loved those as a kid, man.
Yeah.
I miss those. I feel like we should have party favors as adults still. Maybe they do, and I'm just, not going to the right birthday parties. Who knows? Zyrene, when's your birthday? Coming up?
I guess in a sense, I'll be turning 30, so I don't even want to think about it.
Okay, well...
That's the big 3-0.
Just outed yourself.
That's the 3-0. Like,
that's the 3-0.
Like the best of 5's going to be. But
best of 5's over real quick.
I know, man. It's done just like my life. Anyway.
Well, on that note...
No, my birthday's March 5th, and the way to remember it is it's the day after the only day that it's a command, March 4th. So you March 4th into my birthday.
I like that. Now I'm jealous. My birthday, not nearly as cool.
When's your birthday?
October 29th. 2 days before Halloween.
Oh.
Yeah, that was always fun, though. The grab bags, as an adult, you don't get those as much, but you do have a convenient second alternative for the weekend outside of just your birthday. But look at Shox on the top side. Bringing our attention back into the League of Legends game in front of us right now. Shox, we know that he was camping a bot side last game. Now looking for the top side, but command attack could be in some trouble. Gets dismounted, flashes, and ignites as well. But now on the top side, they know that there's no jungler nearby. Also at the bottom, the Root comes in for Freak Wave heal as well. Will the dive complete? Flash away by top Hippopotamus. Songmeister almost goes down. Shox has to flash too, and they don't get the kill. Oh, Songmeister walks forward again. Shox can get this. Oh, the shield comes in. Can Songmeister turn it? Shox gets the kill and the heal back. And Shox gets out with his life. Meanwhile, You Will Fail got a kill with a roam to the bot side.
Yeah, there was just so much pressure there that You Will Fail. He was able to actually rotate out because they used the Gragas, they used Nugma suits to pressure mid lane, push the Kled back, so that's a free roam from the Zed. So I like that he was able to use the pressure that was earned from that mid lane to go make a play bottom. You can see it here on the minimap that they are already well on their way, that Kled, little old Kled, he can't mount up, he's so slow, he's just gonna stick in that mid lane for so long.
And there's that electrocute coming through. Zyrene does a lot of burst damage, so that is what you get. You Will Fail flashing forward for that kill. So gold influx for Northwestern University. Definitely a better start to the game than last time.
Yeah, and another thing too that I noticed is it's not even command attack on the Orianna, right? They swapped the lanes, but I thought they were going to swap the players. I thought they were going to have command attack play topside. He's the one playing Kled.
Well, command attack?
He's playing Kled, and he has the clan tag Ori.
Really?
And there's, yeah, look.
I didn't realize he was that committed to the bit.
He's got the clan tag Ori.
Disrespectful, honestly.
This guy's not even the best Orianna in his team.
He's trying his best, okay, Zyrene.
His main was stolen.
He's might be behind in CS of the melee matchup, but it was mostly because of that botch dive. Well, it's not even botch dive. They did pull it off. Just took a little bit too long, which allowed Northwestern to get plays elsewhere on the map. But, you know, while You Will Fail went for that roam, behind on CS, but now action on the top side. Songmeister stops the back of Shox. Nugma Suits is here as backup, but they don't go all in for a kill.
Yeah, just trying to kind of, I think, split farm right now. Gragas actually just straight up walks away.
Yeah, I can't find anything for that. Shox will complete the bank, but bringing our attention back to that earlier play, the Zed went bot side, command attack stayed mid, and was able to get a sizable CS advantage here. So while it hasn't translated into items quite yet, command attack does hit level 6 first, and that is very important when you're thinking about Zed's ability to do anything.
Down to the bot lane we go. Just check it for vision.
Has ultimate available, can look for this if he wants to. There's no wards deep in the river. So this ward, there's even the control ward. Oh, he's throwing out the charge, going for the play immediately, trying to get in. There's the black shield, which prevents the CC, but Freakwave's taking a lot of damage already. Should go down. Shox gets the kill. They should be able to get out safely here as well. Yep, Secret Taco cannot capitalize on that.
Yep, and that was a play that should have been called a month in advance. That was ridiculous.
As soon as You Will Fail sees command attack, leave that lane. You got to be pinging your teammates.
He hit, not only does he leave the lane, he hits 6 and just trudges out of the lane like, bye, I'm out of here.
I'm gone. We outie.
And that was it. Like when you see, that's like when you see a Twisted Fate hit 6 and then you see him walk away and you're like, oh God, like he's going somewhere else.
Something's happening.
It took so long for him to actually get down bottom too.
Yeah, he was walked all the way down, but good capitalization, understanding what the champion is meant to do, regardless of Northwestern's response to it. And You Will Fail doesn't get anything for that himself. Still behind in CS, is able to push in a little bit and get 1 turret plate, but that's not quite enough to say it's a win. When the bot lane, we were talking about the poke advantage of the Caitlyn and Morgana, hasn't come through. Kuderik is just fine right now in the CS department himself.
Yep, and the fact that they have a Nautilus too, he'll help sustain the Yasuo, and the Yasuo will kind of mitigate a decent amount of that damage by using the Wind Wall. And now they're just duo invading. They found Nugma. They're going to push him off to the bottom side, and this will allow them to section off the top and allow them to do what they want here. So they're gonna either make it so that Songmeister has to play a little bit back, but he's actually going to go
will just go in. The shockwave already used by top Hippopotamus. Ooh, doesn't get the kill here from Songmeister. He wanted it. Trying to make the hero play in the 1v1 situation, but the Orianna shields, the CC she provides, just too much.
And he's just going for wave push. He's not going for... check it with the ball. Check it with the ball.
Top Hippopotamus looking for those cooldowns. Drops the ward in instead. So Songmeister will go back to the wave. And meanwhile, though, Dragon's getting started up here by Illinois. Rest of Northwestern trying to answer.
This is where you want to use Kled ultimate just to engage.
Oh, here's an engage coming through from Shox. Good binding, though, from Freakway.
Wow.
Shox takes so much damage off of that. This might mean the Dragon goes over to Northwestern. They want to keep it aggroed, although here comes Command Attack. They combo down one member so quickly.
Oh, the kickback!
Still alive, still in the fight, but what is this Caitlyn doing that far forward? Secret Taco goes down. Now Command Attack trying to engage onto Freakwave. Can't quite find him, but Illinois somehow pulling that one out of a hat.
We need that Lee Sin play in slow motion. Because that, you know, there's the in sec, but that's the in and out sec. That's the one where you get the Q on them, you flash to the other side, you kick them back, and then you take the Q to get out. You're not just going in and kicking the person in. That's not the Q, flash, R, or R flash. This is the one where you actually get it first, get into position, and then kick and follow them through.
And we will get to see a replay of this. He gets bursted out so quickly right away.
Watch this. It's Blast Cone into kick, flash, Q.
Oh!
Q, yeah. Follows him. That's the in and out sec right there. And then he jumps to somebody who's a little further away.
Absolutely insane. Secret Taco did not expect that one coming, as you will fail. Somehow got picked there, not quite sure how, but without that Zed available, this means one more person off the map for Illinois to worry about, and they can set up this Dragon yet again.
And that, when it comes to setting up the Dragon, he's just going to go to the bot side. They have, I think they know he's alone.
Yeah.
So this might just be a straight up dive on this Caitlyn that they know has no flash.
Secret Taco in a lot of trouble. No flash, no heal. And it's about to be a 3v1 situation with a full minion wave under turret. So we'll see how well Illinois is able to juggle this aggro. They're going to go for it.
Just walk up.
First knockup's missed, but Bosch can just do this. Just auto attack, Q, and there we go. Secret Taco's done. No reason to juggle turret aggro. They can kill him that quickly. But on the top side, a play on the top of bottom is Nugma Suits with a beautiful engage. And Songmeister gets the kill.
Yeah, and that's the thing is this Gragas has been using flash to pretty much guarantee kills. When you're seeing things like the Lee Sin is walking up and getting these kills because they're just using, I would say, almost like checkmate-like situations as opposed to forcing situations where they have to expend it. Because now it means the Gragas is vulnerable to a play that might happen on him. The Orianna isn't vulnerable to subsequent plays now. Whereas if you make a play like the previous one, it just feels so much better to get stuff and not actually, hold on, fighting.
Another play could be happening right here. Maybe not. Command Attack is continuing forward. Really wants something. Could be a disengage. Oh, now they re-engage. Shockwave onto two members, followed by the Yasuo ultimate. And Northwestern University are getting crushed right now. Oh, one kill comes in for You Will Fail. He's trying to juke around. Can't quite find it, so a double comes in for Shox. Illinois will win the fight. Might be able to claim the Rift Herald if they want to, but should be just a reset. But we're going to send it over to Return for an update on another crucial match happening right now. Minnesota versus Purdue to determine who else will qualify for playoffs in the Western Conference.
Thank you, guys. As you can see right here, a three-man pick leads to an easy Baron for Purdue, but you guys are right on the stage. Depending on what happens in this game, has huge implications for the Western playoffs. Assuming an Illinois win on the main stage, it's going to come down to who wins this matchup today that moves on to the playoffs. Assuming either a Minnesota or Illinois win means Illinois gets the first seed, a Purdue win could lead to a tiebreaker scenario that plays out in next week's match. And of course, we'll keep you guys updated as this series does continue. But for now, back to you guys on the desk.
Very, very strong playoff implications in that match, so we'll try and keep a close eye on what goes on between Minnesota and Purdue. But for now, Illinois comfortable in this matchup against Northwestern. They're trying to engage again. Don't quite find the one that they want, but I mean, they haven't been in a rough position so far this entire series. This is the closest it's been. They still have a 1,000 gold lead with that Drake.
Yeah, and they still have scaling to come. This Lee Sin with the Moby Boots can now get all over the map, so we're watching Shox to see what he ends up doing.
I will say Northwestern looks much more comfortable this time around. They are not allowing this early game to spin out of control. And as I say that, Command Attack gets a solo kill onto the Secret Taco. Whew. Didn't even have charge up. That was just a straight up kill. Hopefully we can take a look at how that exactly transpired, but this should mean another turret on the bot side. No one to answer it here from Northwestern side, but maybe they can get something up on the top. Another good engage
Shockwave
coming in. Shockwave, though, from top Eponymous. Will the Orianna get out? There's no chance. Songmeister will claim another kill.
Yep, and that was a little bit of hesitation there on the Shockwave. Maybe could have done it blind, or done it with them blind to her. Steps out of the bush. Makes it a little easier, but still, 2-on-1. Not favorable at all, and especially when you're vulnerable to things like that knockback. Ah, yes, this is one of those plays that makes AD players want to go quit their role and go play mid or top lane. They're just like, champions, man.
This shouldn't be allowed in the game.
Why is he here?
I mean, it wasn't the most fed Kled, but now 2-1 and 3. Tiamat's completed, building up this gold lead, and the CS differential, you can start to feel it here in the XP as well. Another fight happening on the bot side. Oh, a shutdown onto Shocks. And all that gold, 500 into the pocket of You Will Fail.
That might have been trap into binding into trap, or at least binding trap. That was so long. I feel like it's already my birthday now. How long?
Months away, Zyrie.
I know.
You're really excited to turn 30, aren't you? I can tell.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you think you're going to rock it?
No.
I feel like I'm going to rock my 30s.
Oh,
I feel like that's what I was built for.
Yeah, you were built for your 30s.
Exactly. It's like, I'm just waiting.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever said about
like,
it. Yeah, you were built for your 30s, man.
It's not new information for me. Don't worry. This is known. This is a known fact. Do you think Illinois is ready for their 30s? It's hard to tell with college students. You can never quite know where they're where they're at right now.
Is anybody really ever ready for their 30s?
We'll see. We'll see how you do. You'll be my trial run. I'll just get the feedback from you on how it's going.
Live vicariously through me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only as bad as you make it, to be completely honest. Or as good as you make it. You know what? Let's be optimistic here. Just like there's only a 1,000
I mean,
gold
that's
lead.
what I'm saying. You can do so much more in your 30s. Kind of like you can do so much more if you have a gold lead and Rift Herald push in the mid turret. Look at that.
Yeah, true.
Segued it back into the League of Legends game in front of
My
him.
friend once told me that once you're like 24, 25, you have no cool birthdays left. Like you had your 21st.
Pretty much.
Hold up.
Pretty much. Oh, here's a fight happening. Oh, Bosch picked off immediately. Shocks looking for the hero play. A kick into 3 and a follow-up from Kuderek. But they can't find enough. Maybe they can take down Nugma Suits, but there's still an AD carry left alive. 4 members from Northwestern make it out of there, and Illinois lose 2.
They're just going to continue pushing here. They have the Kled on the bottom side. He didn't get that final Q, didn't get that kill.
But a successful defense here from Northwestern, regardless. 1,500 in the hole, but they hold on from the initiation here.
Oh, not quite able to pull himself to the other side. Anchor doesn't quite reach, but a kick back into 2, and then a good ultimate there from Yasuo with the follow-up. And right here, oh, just expect him to go down towards the base gate instead of up.
Yeah, not able to pick up that second kill that would have evened things out. So Illinois, I mean, this is what I was saying earlier on. In game 1, we saw a couple plays where they overextended. They were a little too far forward, a little too over-eager. And Northwestern this time around is actually punishing some of these oversteps here. They have a Fed Zed who can pop a lot of the members on Illinois. Yes, the Kled's not the one you're going to go for, but Yasuo, Lee Sin, Orianna are all great targets. We even see Top Eponymous building some of that armor just to deal with the assassination potential of the Zed.
Yep, and I feel like this is such a interesting kind of turnaround here for You Will Fail, because we picked on him last game for the Xerath. It wasn't working for him. It did not look good in the slightest, and now he's actually doing so much better. 5-2-1, has 2 lethality, almost has the Dusk Blade completed, and he's up against the Kled. Not an easy matchup, and the Kled is actually going for some interesting itemization as well.
Yeah, the Essence Reaver is something we don't see on Kled that often. Typically, I think if Kled is a Triforce builder, you really want to get to that one early. Maybe a Black Cleaver, depending on the armor on the enemy team. Depends on if you're on the solo queue mentality or on the team mentality.
He wants the crit chance. He wants the critical strike chance. It's the same thing like he's basically going a Tryndamere build, like Essence Reaver and Tiamat. I don't know if you'll end up going for more in terms of like attack speed or anything like that. But the idea is you want to have some wave clear to get out of lane and roam, and that's what the Tiamat's for. But then you want CDR, AD, which is typically what a Black Cleaver will do for you, is give you both those. But if you want more critical strike chance instead of armor penetration and health, then that's when you go for the Essence Reaver.
Well, definitely has his eyes set on kills right now. Oh, Songmeister in a solo kill on the bot side. I thought Topopotamus might be able to get out of that one, but no. The Ribbon comes in clutch and takes the 1v1. Beautiful play.
Yeah, and he's got an Essence Reaver as well, so there might have been a crit coming in there that was not expected. There is some armor, but there's no Ninja Tabi just yet. As soon as the Tabis come through for the members of Illinois, they'll be much more durable against this team that's pretty much all AD save for the Gragas. There they are. Okay, finally got them on the top side. When he gets Zonias, that's the next thing that he's really going to have to save up for.
Yeah, and we're not seeing that much armor in general coming out from Illinois' side. Actually, the majority of the armor being on this Orianna herself. Ninja Tabi's on the Kled mid lane, but outside of that, they don't seem too concerned right now against the full AD composition of Northwestern. Nugma Suits not doing an incredible amount of AP damage, but the Electrocute definitely helping out. But getting caught out will not help your team in the slightest. You can't do damage if you are gray screened. So a good pick here for Illinois.
Yep, gets the Zonias out of him too, so he'll have to complete that item before he can go golden one more time. And that allows them to push to the top side of the map, get that wave with the Kled.
Dark seal stacks as well.
Oh.
That's where some of the AP was coming in from the Gragas.
Ah, that always sucks when you lose those.
I know.
You feel like you've been put behind, and now it's like, do I sell the item? Well, I have to hold on to it for a little bit longer at least. It's good until it starts taking inventory slots, and then you definitely get rid of it.
It's kind of that feast or famine item. It's great if you're ahead. Not as great if you're getting picked like that. But that was Nugma Suit's first death. So, again, Northwestern looking so much better with this roster. You will fail looking much more, you know, convincing on the Zed, and Nugma Suits in the jungle role definitely having a much better game than Songmeister did last time. Potential pick here. Shocks in onto Freak Wave. Binding was already used, so Freak Wave doesn't have a lot of defensive options after that, but luckily University of Illinois does not want to push forward. Setting up this Baron vision, we see all these wards drop down from Illinois. It looks almost like they're trying to catch somebody out of rotation, find a pick to then set up the next play.
Command Attack is looking for an ultimate.
Oh, gosh.
I would say he has to go down. There it is.
He's trying to force it out. The Black Shield is used, though. Kudarek flashes forward to get a knock-up. Tries to get onto Shikir Taco, but look at the fight over here on the right side. Zed goes down, and Kudarek still alive against Secret Taco. Illinois absolutely winning that fight, but maybe Kudarek goes down. Over the wall is Nugma Suits. Can't find him. He will fall down. Freak Wave won't get the kill. Nugma Suits still alive for now. Tries to turn one around for the trouble, but can't find it. Freak Wave has to flash. That's 4 down for Northwestern, and Illinois win the fight.
And that's just a fight of mechanics. That had nothing to do with where people were positioned for the most part. That's just how people decided to play out the fight, where they separated to, who was fighting what, and wasn't anything like a major gold advantage. And you just had it, you just had people living by slivers.
Such a close fight between Illinois and Northwestern, but Illinois clenched it out. They get the Baron, but let's take another look at the engage here from Illinois.
Nugma moves over to the side, means that Morgana has to commit to moving up to Black Shield, and then they get the stun here, but look at that. The wind wall prevents follow-up damage while the stun has happened onto the Yasuo. Almost dies. Then there's just so much to prevent even a basic attack coming in from Nugma. And then Freak Wave, he doesn't commit to it, doesn't have the mana for maybe even a W follow-up. He had to wait for the ticks to come through, and at that point, the Yasuo had already gotten the heal from the kill that Shocks got.
Rough position for Northwestern to be in for sure. They lose the Baron, they lose this Infernal Drake, and Illinois now looking more like the Illinois from game 1, really pressuring here. And yes, I'd say Topopotamus not looking the best on the Orianna. Okay, Songmeister. Full lethality build from the Lee Sin means that Shocks can just delete members off the map.
Yeah, I thought he was rushing I thought he was originally going to rush the Yomu, so I was like, oh, he's going to be super speedy. He's going to get in positions that they wouldn't expect him to be in with the Moby boots and the Yomus. But then I saw that he got ahead, and I was like, it's probably going to be Duskblade. Ended up being Duskblade, and ooh, doing some magic tricks, making the enemies disappear.
Yeah, so much burst onto Songmeister. Through those Ninja Tabbies, and now 1v1 here. Command Attack trying to take down You Will Fail. You Will Fail goes back in. Oh, one more minion auto would have taken him down, but he barely limps out with his life. But Nothing else to be gained elsewhere on the map as Illinois continue to push in. Command attack now in one going against the Nugma suits. Burst it down. So 1 kill over to the side of Northwestern University, but their base is cracked.
And this game is not faster than the previous one. It was 20 minutes and 21 seconds total. So the speed run, not there.
It's not as one-sided either, but it still feels like Illinois are trying their best to end this pre-25 minutes.
True. They're trying to G2 Team Liquid.
Whoa. There we go, taking out Nugma before he can even zone. Yes, chaining the CC, now locking down the Zed. You will fails out. It's a 3v5 defense against Baron Powered Minions, but here's the play, trying to get in onto Songmeister.
Oh, it's a slaughter.
Playing the hero, but nothing can be done. Nothing can be won. Secret Taco, last to survive, 1v5, dies in the fountain, and that's the ace. That's gonna be the series, and that is University of Illinois sealing their ticket to playoffs.
And Illinois still undefeated in the Western Conference.
Yeah, they were favorited going into this match, but we didn't expect to see that level of dominance in the game one. Game two was slightly closer, but still, when you're able to close it out that fast off of one Baron, you know that you're a top-tier team.
Yep, and with that, Illinois lock in a playoff spot for themselves. They are at least top 2 here no matter what, and that means that they are going to have a chance to get into playoffs, defend their title as well as the BTN champions.
Yeah, they're going to be up against Purdue later on next week. That's going to be their final match in the regular season, and that will answer who's going to be that first seed, because if they're able to take the win against Purdue, provided Purdue beats Minnesota today, that means that they will for sure lock in first place. If they lose to Purdue and Purdue wins today, then there'll be a head-to-head tie. So interesting to follow there. So they're not locked in first place, but they know that their ticket is stamped.
But they are there, yeah.
They're good to go. And there's a potential that it could be even Purdue versus Illinois, regardless, as the top 2 in the semifinals. So they got to be prepping for this team hardcore right now. If I'm Illinois, I'm looking at Purdue, and I'm thinking about them for the entire next week. Trying not to let it affect your studies as students, but you're definitely worried going into that match.
Yeah, and I feel like they have a little bit of time. You know, there's about like a week or so where they're just kind of chilling for a bit, making sure that they are preparing. I guess you get a little bit of time for Thanksgiving, you know, have some time with the family, and then you back to kicking butt, right? You got to get back on that riff.
Back to business.
You got to just defend that title as well in the preseason.
Yeah, you got to hop right back into the grind. Ranked season's going to be over, so there's going to be
2 days.
I know, 2 days. I gave up on my climb already. I don't know. How's your climb coming, Zyrene?
Oh, I haven't been climbing.
You haven't?
No, man, I'm playing World of Warcraft. I'm playing Classic WoW, dude.
Classic WoW. See, I'm excited to actually play other games. For me, it's always the rush for League towards the end of the season, and then once it's done, I'm like, okay, I can play Pokemon. I can play other single-player games if I need to.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, it's like I have multiple accounts, so when I get them to, like, Diamond or I start grinding on them, I go through, like, different phases where I'm like, it's like I have to really love a few champions to really want to grind hard, right? So, like, when they nerfed Sejuani and I played her for, like, years, I'm kind of like, you know, even before she got reworked. Same thing.
Was she even fun before, though?
Yeah, I always find that style fun personally. I always like tanks.
All right, fair enough.
Like for some reason, I don't know. I just like being on the front lines.
What happened to Sejuani?
Miss
her. Well, do I? I miss
you probably don't.
I miss what Smithy was able to do on her at the international stage. Let's put it that way. But bringing our attention back again, you know, condolences to Northwestern fans having to witness that against the #1 seed in Illinois. They were already out of the playoff contention, but rough way to end the season there. They gave it their best. They tried their hardest, but were not able to take it. But quick update here as Purdue leads 1-0 over Minnesota, and we can actually send it over to Returned with a better update. Or rather, not to Returned. We're just going to see the...
There's a Sejuani in this game.
There is a Sejuani.
She's dead, but, you know...
Okay.
But she's there.
Right as we were talking about it, right wise. See, Minnesota, they need to pick all those, you know, glacial comp champions because, you know, they are in the north. They are in the frozen tundra themselves, so makes sense that Minnesota would default back onto something like that. But looks like Purdue will be doing the same thing that happened last season. It was Minnesota in that tight race for the second playoff spot, but Purdue was able to clinch it away from them right at the end. And if that's the same story twice in a row, this could be a rivalry forming here between Minnesota and Purdue.
Yeah, I'm getting really kind of concerned with Minnesota because I feel like maybe it wasn't just a mess up in their mid-late game in their macro. Maybe that's just how their mid and late game macro is, and they've been beating teams because their early game is just so strong. Because if you fall apart to like Baron steals, Baron's actually just not going your way when you have massive advantages. We're talking massive advantages. Cleaning that up should be relatively easy, but if it's actually just a flaw in general for the team and they have to have some shot calling changes, this is what the preseason is all about, is that you can have those failures and pick yourself back up after realizing what they are.
Exactly. So not end of the season for anyone in the preseason here. This is to prepare for Collegiate League of Legends up ahead, but we're going to send it over to Return, who can break down that final crucial team fight that gave Illinois their victory over Northwestern.
Mr. Buckkick, appreciate how much it is that you want to send it over to me, but thankfully we are finally here, and we're here to break down one part of that absolute insane game between Illinois and Northwestern. Of course, Illinois coming out the better at the end. We can see here the Baron fight that took quite a bit of time, and I think really highlights how Illinois were able to get the upper hand in the match eventually. As you can see here with the compositions, it really is for Illinois all about that initial burst. Of course, there's some assassins on the other side of the map, but when you have things like the Collide and like the absolute assassin Lee Sin, it is all about ending those fights before somebody like Caitlyn can really get going. And you can see how Illinois sets this one up. And as we can play this one through just a little bit forward, you can see how it's a dance initially around the Baron. And as we start this engagement, you can see backdoor coming in from the Collide, able to come around the side, trying to limit the options on this top side here. You have this giant group to enter out with the back, and the best part is everything's here, is you separate out this fight so that this grouping of the Caitlyn and the Morg has no way of getting into the fight. This right down here is the bread and butter for Northwestern. You want to try to keep these guys alive and up as long as you can during the fight. And of course, initial gauge doesn't quite go on them, but they do a fantastic job of zoning away Caitlyn, zoning away Morgana, and letting the rest of the fight play through. And as you can watch as this fight does resume, that's exactly what they do. Kendrick goes right down to the bottom side, chases around the Caitlyn until she can't come into the fight once again. Then as the rest of the team does start progressing down this corridor, it is all about, once again, keeping this Caitlyn out of the fight and dealing with threats as they arise. And as you can watch, as this fight just continues to end through for Illinois, it's a very valiant effort by the Gragas to eventually make this comeback. But with Caitlyn barely getting any auto attacks, and in fact, that entire time on this top side, she doesn't get an auto until she is rerouted by the Nautilus. Just gives so much control back over to Illinois, turns into a simple chase, and the Baron will be the reward that Illinois needed to push the game just that bit forward. And it is that rapid style of fight and mindfulness towards its own control that let Illinois snatch a victory from the jaws of who knows what. Back to you guys on the desk.
Illinois looking dominant in that victory in that last team fight. Beautiful how they were able to zone out members from Northwestern from even getting into the fight to begin with.
Yeah, and that's just exploiting the composition because there's literally no tank on it. The Gragas is not that tanky. You really rely on AP to scale with your W. But then you have Riven, Zed, Morgana, Caitlyn. You don't even have a tanky support like a Leona. So there's nobody who really can stand in front of the Caitlyn and soak. Even soak a Kled ultimate or soak damage or kind of peel people off. You rely on people who are also kiting back with you. So that is the big difference there in the team composition. That's why we see Leona and Nautilus be the primary supports that people are going for.
Yeah, it's helpful to have an engager and a front line when you need it here. But a bit adieu to Northwestern University. Congratulations to Illinois for taking the victory here today. That does it for our games. We still have the Grubhub Cast and Chat Chowdown ahead of us. I have no idea what the options even were.
Yeah,
I
same.
succeeded this time in going through the entire segment without learning even a single one. So I'm just going to watch as Grubhubby brings the food in and open it up fresh. Oh, it's a burger. Oh, delicious. This is going to be difficult to eat. Have you ever grown a beard, Zyrene?
Ha! I have attempted.
You have attempted.
I have attempted.
Burgers are difficult.
Unfortunately.
I can say that. There's a
Are
few
they?
things that are tough. Ice cream cones, no go. I mean, you can do it.
Don't you just store food in there for later?
Well, I mean, you got like pretzels and snacks and stuff.
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
Come on, like not a burger. That's just disgusting.
Oh man.
But this looks delicious. Okay. Let's give it our best shot. Do we want to toast burgers?
Oh, hold on. Let me just.
Oh yeah, you got to make sure that.
Yeah. I'm just gonna do this real quick. All right, cool.
Oh, you taking the lettuce?
Yeah. I'm gonna take the lettuce off on this one because it's already
my
a
lettuce
veggie.
just fell off.
Yeah, I was like big things of lettuce, not enough for me, man.
Cheers.
All right.
Whoop, there we go. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Oh, that was the world's tiniest bite of a burger ever. World record held right here. It's been a blast today. Thanks for everyone for stopping by. Congratulations to Illinois and to Michigan State for being the victors today. Make sure that you tune in next week, same time, same place, as we get ready for more BTN action during the preseason invitational, and we'll see who's able to close out the preseason with style and with victories. You're not going to want to miss it.
They're really good.